Tasty, tasty. Tasty, tasty. Tasty, tasty.
Hey folks, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. I hope you're having a great Sunday. First things to say is please no Formula 1 spoilers. I know a few of you are probably watching it. I'm going to watch it when I get home after streaming tonight, so you have been warned. I don't want any spoilers. Right, okay, so Reed was first. He came twice before anyone else did. Jehovah was here as well. Telvin's here too. So I'm really cold. I've just been in the workshop and I completely forgot that the clocks were changing and I should address a few things in the workshop, namely the coffee machine, because it's on a timer, so it heats up like 2 hours before I get here each morning and then turns off when it's supposed to turn off. And it's set up for Sundays to start getting warm about 6:30, which is when I get here usually, and then turn off at 8 o'clock because I've just finished making my coffee, so it's set to turn off at 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, it thought that 7 o'clock was 8 o'clock because the clocks went back. And yeah, so the coffee machine was cold, so I had to turn it back on and wait for it to get hot again before I could make my coffee. So I had to make my coffee at 82 degrees instead of 87 degrees, which is what I usually make it at. So please feel sorry for me because my coffee is not quite as warm as it usually would be. But anyway, all sorted now. I've updated the timer on it, which is why I'm a minute late starting the stream, because I just need to make sure it's hot at the right times tomorrow and it doesn't turn off too early tomorrow afternoon. Anyway, all done. I just completely forgot about that one thing. Telvin's here as well, so is Storesness and Frankie1001. Wobbly Cobblestone says, "Sweet baby Jay, I hope you have a fantastic day." What a nice rhyme. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Captain Malorate is here as well, so is Pokemon Kid, currently on a 29-month subs with a 2-month streak. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Pokemon Kid. Sorry, my phone is vibrating in my pocket. Captain Redlock as well. So is Rue here. Stereo GER. Ball Boy says, "Good evening. I'm off to watch the Mexico Grand Prix. Have a phenomenal stream." Thank you, dude. We will do. True Blaze subscribed for 33 months. Thank you so much for that. F1 is about to start. You're killing me, Smalls. Yeah, I know. I can't, I can't stop the F1, unfortunately. I don't have that kind of influence power to get them to change the time of the race, unfortunately. I was ready for that coffee. Jellymaster, thank you so much for 47 months of subs. Bazooka, good evening. V-Rug Dush as well. Captain Reed's here. We've already talked about him. Running Sushi 91A. Man, good to see you. Long time no see. David Crumcool Keys is here as well. No F1 spoilers, please. Yeah. That bard is something else. Bard? What bard? Wait, what bard? What bard are we talking about? Shakespeare? Yeah, Kalain just literally typed Shakespeare as they said it, yeah. Do you mean the board? Yeah. The Enso is gorgeous. Yeah, the Enso is something else. It's supposed to be here on loan from Clever purely for the open day, which is in less than 2 weeks. If you wanted to come to the Prototypist Meetup / open day, you've got less than 2 weeks to get your ticket. And when I checked, I'm pretty sure we only had like 10 tickets left. And SPC tickets, I'm going to stop selling those tomorrow because I need to plan the SPC evening event. So if you're SPC and you haven't bought an SPC ticket yet, you need to do that before 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, because that's when I'm going to turn those off. And then I think we've only got about 10 tickets remaining for the actual meetup for normal attendees to pop along to as well. So please do buy a ticket. We'll talk about it again in a few minutes, but it's less than 2 weeks away now. It's not Saturday coming, it's a Saturday after, right here at this workshop that I'm in right now. And we're going to have a ton of cool boards and stuff, which means I have a load of boards that I need to build prior to that happening, including the 2 that you're going to get a choice of today. So we'll talk about that very seriously. But yeah, the Enso is here purely for that event. And since I unboxed it on stream the other day, it's decided to live on my desk. And I'm really, really sorry, Clever, but it kind of just told me it's claiming squatters' rights and it's going to live here now for a little bit. So yeah. Coffee is serious stuff. Don't sweat it. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. It's my own fault because I spent 20 minutes this morning going around the whole house and updating all of the analog clocks. We have clocks on the wall that don't auto update and things. In fact, actually, there's one behind me updated. No, so that one needs to be updated as well. I completely forgot clocks at the workshop needed to be done. a lot of my watches will need to be done. Like the one I'm wearing and the couple I had at home, I've done. And I even went over to the neighbours and did the neighbours' house this morning for them because they have no idea when it comes to their digital clocks and stuff. But yeah, I need to add it to my mental to-do list that I need to change clocks at the workshop as well as at home when the clocks change. And if I'd have done that, my coffee machine would have stayed warm to the correct time, or I would have edited the time on my coffee machine when it stays warm whilst it was still hot, and I wouldn't have had to wait and then rush to make a coffee. So yeah. Mr. Ozcolleen is here as well. Who is Penguin's favourite family member? Antarctica. Oh wow. Yeah, I like that. Loda Braddock, hello. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for being there. And Fun Key as well. Thank you very much for being there too, dude. Yeah, so, PT news, where are we going to start? This week's going to be an interesting one at PT. Our next shipment is en route, and it's due to arrive in port in early November. Now, we don't know an exact date yet. I think it's due to hit port between the 4th and the 10th, depending on the time the ship takes to get around the last little bit of Spain and places like that, because it's in the Mediterranean, and it's got to come around Spain, and Portugal, and kind of like all up that coastline. And then it kind of depends on things like customs and excise payments and all of that kind of stuff as to whether we get the shipment before the meetup or after the meetup. I hope it arrives after the meetup, because then I don't have to find somewhere else to store it during the meetup. But there's a ton of stuff to do this week just to prep for it. I've started to make up like a load of goodie bags, and I was making stuff on Friday, and you'll hear the 3D prints going today. I'm sorry, I usually turn it off during the stream, but I've got so much I need to print for the open day that you're just going to have to cope with the noise of that today, I'm afraid, because I need to make sure I set another print going before I go home tonight, and that will then be ready for the morning, and then I can keep it going and going and going over the next few days. So goodie bags have got to be made up. They should be done by the end of this week. I've got some stuff to make on the laser as well. Jelly Master was here on Friday, so he got to see some sneak peeks of that kind of stuff. I'm expecting a package from GMK with some new PT keycaps. How do I not have a PT keycap to hand? There's one. So the pink ones we had made for the last event, we're going to have some revised ones, and even I can't tell you about them because I don't know what colour they're going to be, which is pretty cool. The brief I gave GMK was make some PT keycaps out of all of your leftover resin. Whatever plastics you have available, just make me 2,000 out of that. So that's what they're going to do. So we'll see what they come out like. They could be any colour, don't know. There might be some cool ones, there might be some really terrible ones. And they'll all be in goodie bags as well. Hopefully they'll arrive really soon. And then some more tables arrived, so we can set some tables up. I'm waiting for the covers to arrive for those. They should be here in a day or two. I've got some tarpaulins to put up just to hide a lot of the car parts, because they're like half an engine on one wall and a load of tail lights for another car on another wall and stuff that I've just nowhere else to really put, so they're going to be hidden away. The 3 cars that are at the workshop are going to be moved a week on Friday, so the Friday just before, the day before the open day, and I'm hoping we can do that in the morning so that when the cleaner's here, she can clean where the cars are being, because there'll be the odd oil drip or whatever from underneath them. And they're going to go and live in another unit in the same vicinity as the workshop, which means I need to put 2 of the cars on charge and change the battery on the 3rd one, which I need to do this week, so I must do that this week. So that's kind of like all hands on deck just to prep for the open day. And then there's a few other things arriving this week, as well as the Liberty Walk boards should arrive this week, I think on Thursday. There might be some Theseus boards just before the open day as well. They were originally supposed to be done quite a few months ago, and then I think the Divinity shipment left China like 6 weeks ago and is almost in the US now, or is in the US now, and ours still haven't left the manufacturer, which has been really frustrating. So I think they've missed the next container even now, because the next container is already signed off to deliver just before Christmas. I'm thinking I'm going to have to airship those over now. Like, I don't have a choice, which is going to be really expensive. And I think the quote we had was like $4,000 to ship those Theseus boards over, which means we'll make absolutely no money on them. Probably make quite a big loss on them. But it's the right thing to do. So we're going to try and do that, and it might mean extra pricing is a little bit higher. The final thing that's happening this week is it's going to be the last keyboards and coffee before the open day on Thursday, and you will be able to buy the rubber Rubrehaku extras in person on Thursday only here at the PT workshop. I'll be putting an announcement up tomorrow about the pricing and the cost for them if anyone does want to come by. I think no one will absolutely no one will do this. Although I said that last time for the Gahakus and we had like 20 people turn up in one day to buy extra boards, and I think we almost sold out of extra boards just from people turning up. So the Rubrehakus are going to be available to pick up on Thursday only. You get a free coffee, you can have a chat and buy your board and leave, and that'd be great. If they haven't sold out, they will all go in stock after the open day. I think the remaining ones go in stock after the open day on the website, and you'll be able to buy them and just have them shipped to wherever. But I just wanted to do something fun for the UK community. Yeah, so what else do I need to tell you about? I think that's it for PT news. Let's catch up with chat anyway. Need to do my car yet. Stupid thing is GPS governed, but I need to tell whether it's GMT or BST. Stupid. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Luckily, my car is okay and it's updated just fine. But the classic cars all have analog clocks on them, so I will need to go around those and update them at some point. Are there special SPC tickets? I bought one, but I don't know if it's for the SPC or not. Yeah, so SPC only has a link in Discord on the SPC channel. So SPC is the Twitch subs. You can see more information down below. And there is special tickets for that because that gives you entry to the after party here at PT, which will be in the evening, which a poll is going to go up on the SPC Discord tomorrow about, so watch out for that. But yes, check your ticket. If you've got the wrong one room, make sure you buy the right one and email me if you want a refund on the other one and we'll get it sorted. I saw the Bulwark TKL on prototypist.net. I'm looking for a high quality TKL. Can you tell me more about it? Yeah, so it was a long running project, Logan, for a really cool TKL that was like kind of polycarbonate and aluminium. So this is, instead of injection molded, this is actually CNC milled polycarbonate. So it's really a designer's vision kind of board. So it's an absolutely beautiful piece. There's wrist rests available as well. I can't remember if it comes with them or you need to buy the wrist rest separately, but it sounds great. It looks great. If you're on Instagram, there's a guy called The Dold, Thedold. He's a German photographer of keyboards. He's very, very talented. He's super nice to work with, and he took some absolutely stunning pictures of them. So if you want to check those out, I'd absolutely recommend it. But it's a great keyboard. Great keyboard. Glad I'm not working tonight. A 13-hour shift is rough. True that, man. True that. Bit late tonight. I hope I don't miss much. Yeah, clocks have changed, so it's going to be different for some people watching me, yeah. Sound like you need someone with some program management experience to organize all those tasks. So here's a fun thing. So whilst my career was built around project management, and I'm very, very good at delivering large-scale, you know, multinational, multi-million-pound projects, like that was my bread and butter. I did it for years. I'm good at it. It's absolutely my skill set. When it comes to managing smaller things like this, it's just all in my head. Like, I don't get it out onto paper. I have a sort of semi-to-do list downstairs on the whiteboard, and I also use a tool called Workflowy, which is kind of like it's a very simple text editor based website that you can access on your phone as well, and all you do is you put bullet points in it, just bullet points, and there is a calendar function, but I don't really play around with that. But you just put bullet points in there, and you can stack bullet points and tabulate bullet points in, so they're all nested and things, and you can I kind of use that for day-to-day stuff that just needs doing. Some stuff goes on there that doesn't need to be done immediately. For more in-depth stuff, I use Obsidian, and then that links into a Notion, and we have some like really high-end Notion stuff for tracking shipments and tracking projects and stuff and things. So it depends on what we're doing and how we're managing it. But if it's just me that's doing it, like it is for the open day, it's literally all just in my head. Like it's this is a list of things, which is really, really bad for someone that has ADHD. Because it means things get forgotten, and all of a sudden I'll hyper-focus on one thing, and then go, oh shit, all of this needs to be done, and then I'll hyper-focus on that, and then there's something else not happening, like the fact that I'm trying to buy a house and sell a house. That's kind of like getting pushed to the wayside when it shouldn't be. So it's all fun. It's all fun and games. Hoping there's Rubrehaku extras boards to go online. Can't spend 8 hours traveling between 12-hour night shifts. Dude, I mean, I'd commendate you if you were doing that. I see there's one in stock per colour. I might place an order in a couple of weeks if it's still available. Nice, man. Nice. SPC's ticket snagged. Yes, Telvin. I can't wait to meet you in real life. Just joined. Did I miss anything interesting? No, I've just been talking about the upcoming PT Open Day. The fact that whilst I am a program manager by trade, my actual system for managing the Open Day is terrible because it's all in my head. And then talking about some upcoming shipments that are coming to PT as well. So yeah. Clever Keeps is here as well. Hey man, good to see you. The NSOE has told me that it is taking up residency on my desk, and it's refusing to leave. It won't be ejected no matter how much I plead with it to leave. It's just decided that it's staying there, I'm afraid. So whilst it was here just to come to our open day in a couple of weeks, it has told me that it's just not going to leave. So yeah, I'm really sorry about that, but it's going to get a little bit of use, I'm afraid. I couldn't put it down after we unboxed it on stream the other day. So it's just it's just such a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. Look at this, guys. Look at this. This is upcoming. We will be the UK vendor for it as well. This is the an MX version, but there'll be a Dynacap version as well. So there is crystal polycarbonate milled all around the top case here. You can see the Sand Garden inspired waves on that lovely green color. But this board is all about the details. Let me unplug it so I don't have the cable floating around. So this board is all about the details. You can see it's got the Clever Keeps logo in the top corner there, but there's all sorts of little things, like right here. It's really hard to show you, but there's like a lip. You see that dark lip here? There's a lip on this aluminium plate that just curves down so nicely just there in the center. And then on the rear of the board, it's just as beautiful. It's got that whole Sand Garden theme going on here as well. But the biggest feature that I absolutely adore on this board is this curve just here where these two pieces meet. There's like a curve between the two. And it is just, you can see just there how the light changes as it rolls over it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful little curve, and it leads onto the sharp edge, and it's almost like waves lapping at sand. It is absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. Whole design on the rear as well. Look at that. Just an absolutely beautiful board. This is the MX version. I think there'll be an EC version as well. In fact, I'm almost certain there will be. So yeah, watch out for that. More news is coming really, really soon. Right. Can't wait to try the NSOE. Just bought my ticket too. Nice, man. Nice. I can't wait to see you at the meetup. This will be here on the day, so you can try. Honestly gorgeous. Beautiful board, just like all of you guys. Looks and feels so nice. Yeah, Jelly Master was one of the first to try it in the UK because he got to try it on Friday when he popped over to the workshop. Is Clever designing the best looking boards at the moment? It certainly feels like it, smashing it. So I have a couple of favorite kind of designers in the hobby that I like to follow, and I don't like, as we're a vendor for so many designers, this is really bad of me to say this, but I do have like a couple of favorites. Clever is absolutely one of those. Justin is another one. You know, like the Cloudline is to the side of me. I've been using that for months now. Cloudline V2 is amazing, but Clever's boards just lately just pop, and they're so good. They're so good. Never actually used an Ergo board. Need to try one, dude. Need to try one. When is Group Buy expected to go live? I think Clever said December, but I need to validate that. I'm not 100% certain. I don't have access to all the information I usually do when I'm streaming. In the dictionary under detail, it should say "see this board with a hyperlink." Yeah, it should just have, and the hyperlink should be just like it should be a Google Maps link to the PT workshop. That's how it should be. I'll group by early December. Yeah, early to mid December. Nice. Yeah. Did E-Tower 87 hit MOQ? I don't know is the honest answer. I am terrified that it hasn't, because if it hasn't, that's a lot of refunds we're going to have to do, which is always painful and costly. I haven't looked at the full vendor numbers for E-Tower 87. I know roughly what we've sold, like to within like a few units, but I'm hoping that if we leave it open overnight tonight and tomorrow morning, there'll be a couple of last minute people sneak in before we all start to update our final numbers, and then we'll see where all of the vendors have got to, and then we'll have a discussion about extras, and then we'll see what we can do to make the projects live and live. Oh, are they extending it to the 30th now? Oh, okay, if they're extending it to the 30th, we'll do the same. Yeah, if they're extending it to the 30th, we'll do the same. I haven't been, if I've been told that, it's been over the weekend, and I have not been in my DMs over the weekend, or I try not to. Trying to have that work-life balance, I try not to view or read all of my DMs over the weekend. But if they've extended it to the 30th, and that's something they've announced since we closed on Friday, which they may well have done, we'll do the same. I haven't spoken to the designer, the bloody Easy, for a few days, so I'm not 100% certain if that's changed. Sharon may already be aware of it and picking that up in the background. I don't know.
Incredible.
Mist in Blue, thank you so much for the follow as well. Right, okay, so we've talked about the open day a little bit. We're going to talk about it a little bit more in a second. There's a few other bits and pieces that we've talked about as well, such as the meetup, the shipment that's coming to PT. The Liberty Walk boards are being shipped over, so if you're looking for an extra of those, they won't be too far away. And yeah, you've got less than 14 days to get your tickets to the PT Open Day stroke meetup. Let's quickly do the whole bit that I'm terrible at and do some shilling because I'm terrible at it. Meetup tickets, this is where you buy them. Unless you're SPC, if you're SPC, you've got a link in the SPC channel Discord. But yeah, it's the meetup is here. I'm literally sat in that room up there right now. So where I am right now is literally underneath that second light, just there. That's where I'm sat. That's right above me. So that's where I am literally right now. But you can come along. You can explore all of this space. You can see a load of keyboards. You can bring your own keyboards to display as well. One per person. And it's to celebrate our 6th birthday. Somehow, in 5 days' time, when's the 1st? On Saturday, a week yesterday, on that Saturday, PT becomes 6 years old. The whole company turns 6. I do not know how that has happened, how that's gone so fast, where that time has disappeared to, but the whole company is 6 years old in just 5 or 6 days' time, which is insane to me. Like, it just makes no sense that this company's been going for 6 years. It's just nuts. It's crazy, it's nuts, and I'm just super proud to be in that position. So, to celebrate that, we are having an open day meetup. Now, there's a couple of other events happening on the 1st, which is why we're not doing it then, but it will be on the 8th of November, so a week after our birthday. I'll try and make sure there is cake available on the day, but I can't guarantee that, but I'll try and make sure there's cake on the day too. But yeah, you can bring a board of your own to display, one per ticket, just because we don't have a ton of space here at the PT workshop, so we're just having to limit that. There will be some exclusive discounts and products from our keyboard range on display that you can pick up on the day as well, and just to celebrate that. And also you'll be able to pick up some of our coffee as well. So I also own Jay's Roastery, which is a coffee company. Technically it's a subsidiary of Prototypist, but it's its own standalone thing. And we'll have some of the coffee bags here on display as well, so you'll be able to pick those up. Mr. Cullen and Blackbrook will be manning our barista area, so you'll be able to have a barista style coffee, like full on espresso, lattes, flat whites. We'll have all of that available for you, so they're going to man that counter. Mel and Sharon will be handling the till to be able to buy stuff from Prototypist on the day, which will be really cool. And as I say, we're going to have discounts, and at every single item that you buy, so if you buy a keyboard and a key set, you'll get 2 options to do this. There's going to be like a freebies box, so everything that you buy, you'll be able to go into the freebies box and take a random thing out for a freebie. There is a ton of random stuff in there that we just, it's either oversold stuff that we can't sell, returns that are partial, just all sorts of random stuff that's been lying around for a couple of years. There's full keyboards in there, to desk mats, to bags of switches, to keycap sets, to all sorts of stuff. You basically get free dibs into there, and if you buy 2 key sets, you'll get 2. If you buy 5 key sets, you'll get 5, and hopefully all of that stuff will go as well. There'll also be goodie bags as well. Now, I'm only making 100 goodie bags. I think based on current numbers, I think that, because I know some people who won't actually turn up on the day, I think realistically we're going to end up with about 75 people here. That's just based off my guesstimates. So there will be enough goodie bags. If there's more than 100 people come, we will run out of goodie bags. There won't be enough for everyone, so yeah, take that as it comes. We might do a little bit of an AMA with me if people are interested in that. I'll sit and have a coffee with, and people can ask me questions, stuff like that. Only if that interests people. If there's no interest for that on the day, we'll just can that and not do it. We'll also have some giveaways and prizes. So we're going to do like best board on display. I'm going to go around and pick a couple of boards I really like, and we're going to have some nice prizes for those. And there'll also be a charity raffle as well, where you can donate some money to charity for a raffle ticket, and we'll have some cool prizes off the back of that as well. There's also going to be a photo booth as well. So I've already set this up. This is like a soft box with some really nice lighting in there. I'm going to put some coloured card in the background. I'm going to have a big box full of kind of like objects and props that you can put in there with your keyboard. And we're going to have a DSLR setup where we'll be taking raw images. And then after the open day, we'll take the SD card with all the raw images on and we'll put them on the website somewhere. And you'll be able to go along and download your raw images of your keyboards and do whatever you want with them. And it's just a really cool way, like a little memento that you can take away with you. I did toy with the idea of getting like a little Polaroid one, so you could actually have like a Polaroid picture of your keyboard. It's in that setup, but I don't know if we're going to do that. If I can, we will, but it feels like it's a lot of work to do Polaroid. I don't know, we'll see. And yeah, I did say maybe watch me get a keyboard related tattoo on the day. Unfortunately, I don't think this is going to happen anymore because not enough people would have wanted to do it with me. But we'll see if we can make it happen maybe for the evening event, so for the SPC one. So yeah, do take a look at that. Right, other things to shill really quickly. Live pre-orders, please take a look on here. We've added a lot of stuff such as Kiko, Bo Dolch, GMK, Dolch R5 is now on pre-order. You can pick that up as well. Nervewrecker's back on pre-order. The Neo 80 CU ends pretty soon, so get in on that. It ends in a couple of days if you want to pick up one of those because they're really cool. For live group buys, I should probably tell you about the Kraken Rebels Food Artisans. These are really cute, and these are unlimited, but they're basically all based on fast food items. And these finish tomorrow, I think, or Tuesday. So if you want to pick one of these up, they're really cool, or even get all 5 of them. They're really cute, really cool. Those are available. My favorite 2 group buys right now are probably Cap Santa Ilum, which is based on the Sagradia Familia, in Barcelona. It's the cathedral, and it's based on the lights in the cathedral that come through the stained glass windows. Absolutely beautiful keycap set. Take a look at that. GMK Windbreaker is doing really well at the moment, and I'm hoping that the international kit, the Nordic UK kit, will actually make MOQ organically and we won't have to buy it out. It's not a million miles away, but please, if you are buying the base kit, and I urge you to buy it because it's such a cool set, please buy the Nordic UK kit as well to save me the hassle of buying them out. And then things like Gorp and Kaiju and everything else are on there as well. In-stock stuff. What should we talk about in stock? Let's have a look at all of the in-stock range. Oh yeah, 2 new switches this week: Gateron mint smoothies and Gateron chocolate smoothies. I'll be using the Gateron chocolate smoothies in a build next week, and these will be available to test at the open day. The Gateron chocolate smoothie is quite possibly one of the nicest tactiles I've ever tried. It's almost so soft it's not a tactile. If you type fast enough, it feels almost like a really smooth linear, but it's really cool and worthwhile checking out. And if you want a super silent switch, the mint smoothies are almost dead silent. They're probably the quietest switch we've ever had in stock. So yeah, but go take a look at the rest of our in stock stuff as well, because we've got a ton of stuff like GMK Flare and, you know, all sorts of other stuff on here. PBS Goblin Mode, Neo 70s are in stock, Neo 75 CUs are in stock, Neo 80s are in stock, Neo Ergos are in stock, all of the keyboards are in stock. If you're getting ready for Halloween, we do have a Halloween board that'll be on my desk next week that we built a couple of weeks ago. Fright Club is in stock. You can buy the Halloween set, which has the coolest legends like Bonk and Nope and Hex and Trap and Yell and Icky and Ooze and Pelt. You know, all of these cool things in stock, ready to ship. You can have it before the end of the month if you order it tonight. It'll be with you for Halloween. There you go. Cool. And of course, you can also go to jaysroastery.co.uk and buy some coffee if you'd like as well. On the open day, we're going to have the Fiction blend, which is what I'm drinking right now, and we'll also have the True Crime blend. I don't have enough grinders to have all 3 blends plus the decaf on, otherwise I would do it, but I don't have enough grinders here at the workshop at least. So yeah, take a look at that. Go buy some, you know, all of the coffee stuff is here. You can watch me play Rolf Caffeine on there. Yeah, go do the coffee thing. Cool. Okay, that's the shilling done. I promise that's all of the shilling done. Let's catch up with chat and see what you guys have been talking about whilst I was talking about all of that. The $450 will be all Alu. The one on Jay's desk will be slightly more since the heavy metal weight. Yes, this has got brass in it. It's a huge piece of brass on the base. Pricing to be determined throughout November. Yeah. Will there be extra frames for the Pangea Mini or only extra kits? We hope to have some extra frames as well. What an achievement. Thanks, man, and congratulations. Thanks. Yeah, running PT has been a dream for the past few years. What did I do before? Casey, I used to work for a bank in the UK. I was a senior program manager. I delivered high level technical projects to branch networks and data centers and things like that. So yeah, all sorts of like major transformative programs of work to bank infrastructure is what I used to do. And I did that for 16 years. Kalane is making coffee. Nice. 500 Norda kits and 1 voucher for a Rubrehaku. Do you know what? If someone bought all of the Norda kits that we have in stock, even at like 30% off or whatever, and they wanted a Rubrehaku in exchange for doing that, I would let them, because that would save me a lot of money. I'm very excited from the coffee from Kalane. Nice. Yeah. Kalane will be getting barista training on the morning. I'm pretty sure he said, I'm Aussie, so it's okay, when I asked him about it a little while ago. I'm pretty sure that was his response, almost verbatim. So yeah, we'll see. I'm tempted to make the trip. Please do, Human Going. It's going to be such a good day. I'm so excited for it. It's 4 hours in an afternoon, and it'll be just really good fun. I have a Polaroid camera that I can bring. Mr. Clint, drop me a DM on our group chat, and I'll see what I can do. Yeah. PBS Galaxy. I bought both base sets. Nice. Yeah. So we've got the pre-order up because it's on its way to us. So we've got the pre-order up now. We know it's shipping, so it won't be too far. Will BT be stocking GMK Black Snail and the Red Cyrillic Alphas? Yeah, so I've been speaking with Gion about this last week. He told us it was now ready to order. I just need to put the order in and then have them shipped over. So it should be here soon-ish. It's on my list of things to attend this week. Does the Neo 80 pre-order end on the 10th or the 30th? So both is the answer, Human Going. So we're going to do 2 batches for the Neo 80 because it's the first one. We're going to draw the line on the 10th, and those ones are going to be put into production straight away. And then the second batch will actually form part of the rest of batch 9, which is currently live and ends at the end of November. So there'll be almost 2 batches running together for that one. I know that's a little bit complicated, but it's so that we can get the ones early for for early buyers as fast as possible. And then the second, effectively, orders after the 10th will fall into the second round, which will be ordered with the rest of batch 9, which is what runs through October and November. So yeah, American food themed artisans. Yeah. Get your windbreaker orders in. Yeah, everyone should buy it. Obla said Windbreaker International Kit hit ammo community plans to order as extras. As of Friday, when I looked at it, it hadn't. If his numbers have sold over the weekend and got to it, Frankie, then maybe that's the case. When I got the rest of the vendors updating the spreadsheet, because we're the lead vendor, he hadn't updated when I last looked on Friday before I left the workshop. If that's changed since then, that's because I've not been aware. So maybe that has happened and I just don't know about it yet. So yeah. Buy a hand grinder, sell it to me, and have me grind the third blend. So the interesting thing is, on the coffee side, we actually can do some really, really good deals on machinery now. Like we have wholesale connections, and this is something I've been pushing in the background to try and build up a wholesale kind of coffee stuff for machines, espresso machines, grinders, all of that kind of thing. This is why the new Eureka grinder we got a month ago, was because I was testing this new process out, and effectively we will be able to offer with some quite big discounts over like retail stores. Like I've looked at some of the retail stores that have got things, and their pricing is just in, like, the margins they're adding is insane. Like when you look at the wholesale pricing to what they're charging retail for. And don't get me wrong, like there's VAT involved and stuff like that, and I get that, but like I'm pretty confident we can beat a lot of the market rate prices for a lot of the equipment. So yeah, I'm gonna test that. If anyone's in the market for something coffee based, espresso machines, grinders, cafetiers, whatever you're looking for, there's something specific you're looking for, or a range that you're looking within, like say a hand grinder, and there's like 5 or 6 models that you can look at, because we don't have access to everything on the market. Just mention it in coffee chat on Discord, and I will go and get you a price, and I'll say I can sell you that brand new for this price. And if you're happy with that, I'll just make the order and we'll sell it to you. Simple as that. The whole reason why we stopped Jay's Roaster being a separate company and brought it under the Prototypist umbrella is because Prototypist is already VAT registered, and I didn't want to have two companies registered for VAT to be able to do this, because obviously we have to charge VAT on things like grinders and things like that. So that's the whole reason why we did it. So we're going to have one VAT bill to make accounting simpler and easier and cheaper. But yeah, 100% we can start to do it now. We'll grind for an extra £5 to charity. Yeah, we can do that. The site used to say the 10th, but it's changed to the 30th. Yeah, I think that's because we're doing both. So Sharon manages the orders, but effectively, if you order before the 10th, we'll be putting those orders in first as like a CU80 round 1, and then the round 2 will go towards the end of the month with the rest of batch 9. So yeah, that's the plan. How is Windbreaker doing? It's doing well. Yeah, it's doing well. I will be arriving very early. Nice. The black snails won't be there before the meet, though, will they? Unlikely. PT mugs. I'd use a PT mug. So we did do some PT mugs years ago, and I actually have one at the workshop still, Telvin. So it's unused. It's just been sat on the side. So when you come to the open day, I will let you have that mug. You can lay claim to that one mug now, because we did make some. I want to say it was the first year PT was running, and we gave them out to a few people. So AKB James got one, Chris Swires got one. The one that is here at the workshop was actually for a guy called Bledin, who never picked it up. He never came to the workshop to pick it up. And then when he did come to the workshop for an open day 3 years ago, he didn't collect it. So it's just been sat there. Yeah. Are you not meant to make money? So yeah, well, yes, but like the margins they're adding are insane, and I think there's a healthy margin, and then there's kind of like an insane margin. And the more I look at coffee stuff, the more I think that people are just price gouging because they can. No F1 spoilers for me. Yeah, no F1 spoilers yet. Glad I got my pre-order in before the 10th. Yeah, nice. Well done, dude. Still gutted I can't make the open day. Dude, it would have been so great to meet you, and I'm hoping I'd have your Void PCB by then so I can fix up the keyboard that we built last week. So Telvin, you get Bledin's mug. It's literally on the table that we've got downstairs with some keyboards on. If you watch our Instagram, you might have seen it, because it does flitter in and out of view. I found it about 3 weeks ago and opened up the box not knowing what it was. It was like, oh, that's the last PT mug. Oblo said ink kit will hit MOQ with extras. Yeah, I mean, I think we knew that, but yeah, it'd be nice. I'd be placing a Windbreaker order early next month. I've limited myself to at most 1 set per month, and last month it was Mizo R2. Nice, Sosco. That makes sense. But yeah, don't miss it, because it's such a good one. In other words, Jay's not greedy like the other coffee vendors. Like, it's not that I'm not greedy. Like, I think I'm a very greedy person, to be honest. I'm a very, very selfish and very, very greedy person, like, just in general. But like, there's a finite place where you can say this is the wholesale price, and if there's an MSRP and they've said that you should make X percentage, and they've said this is the wholesale price, this is what we recommend you sell it for, and this is your margin, I kind of get selling it for that price. That's fine. I mean, you can choose to sell it a little bit less if you wanted to, but you know, that's fine. But then when you look at things and there is no MSRP, and all of the companies are just pricing at the same point, and you think, well, that's a huge gulf. Like, normally an MSRP gives you, let's say 30%, whatever the average is, and then you see like a market where people are doing 50% margin or 60% margin. You're like, is that right? I don't know. Perhaps I'm just not a good businessman and I just like to sell things cheap. I don't know. Who knows? It wouldn't be the first thing I was terrible at. Okay, right. I think I've told you about everything before we start the actual build. Oh, I didn't put the closed captions on. Okay, closed captions are on now. So for those watching, you can use closed captions. I need to get better at remembering that. So the next thing I need to do is put up a poll, because you guys need to decide what board we're going to build today. So let me figure out where the poll button is, because it seems to have moved. Where's it gone? There it is. It has moved. New poll. Okay. The poll should be now live. So you guys can vote in the poll now at the top of chat and decide which one you want to do. Type /poll. Oh, I tend not to type in the chat. I tend to do it on the Twitch console. So yeah, maybe. Although I should really get another stream deck built into the desk for this kind of stuff because it'd be much easier. Anyway, yeah, the poll's up. So we have 2 boards you can build today. We can build together today. It's either the TGR Mia or it's going to be the Singa Rubrehaku. Now, whichever one we don't build today, we'll be building the other one on stream on Thursday, I think, because I need to get both built before the open day, and I also have some other boards that I need to build as well. So next weekend will be something else. So yeah, so you guys get to vote on which board you'd like me to see built today. And we have keycap choices depending on which one you pick. If you pick the Rubrehaku, the 2 choices for keycaps will either be DCS Deadbeats, or it'll be the GMK version and it'll be GMK Rubrehaku. So you'll have the choice of those. If you pick the TGR Mia, we'll have the choice of Swag Keys white on black, polished keycaps, DCS Pepperbait, GMK Hyperbeige, or GMK Verdant Retro. Those will be the choices for the keycaps. Mia, because I bought one and want to hear how it sounds. Fair. What's the difference between the Rubrehaku and the normal Kahakus other than looks? Just basically, it's a different style. So it's got different artwork on the base. The fish is different, and yeah, it's a slightly different board. That's all. Are you getting the Cheesecake R2 switches? Yes, they're on the way to us at the moment. They're somewhere in a container ship at sea and should be here soon. Building my Mia 2 twinsies. Nice, hey Zri. Glad to see you, dude. Glad to see you. It's ages since I've seen you around, man. But yeah, well, we'll see what people vote for, whether they vote for the Rubrehaku or the Mia. But it looks like the Mia's going to win based on current voting. I did tell Oblo that I'd get him on stream when we built the Mia, and I completely forgot to arrange that. So I'll need to get Oblo back on at some point.
Tasty, tasty.
Sweet, thank you so much for the 8 months of subs, dude. Thoroughly appreciate that subscription. Thank you, man. Thank you. So if we do build the Mia today, we are building it with oat switches, which is what Oblotsky has recommended. So he has sent me those as a recommendation. We have the switches right here. We will be stocking these very, very soon as well. They did come in a Hebe bag, which is very nice, but we will be stocking these really soon too. And the other, the Rubrehaku would be built with the rubber hose switches. So this is kind of like the artwork style for it. So we'll be building the Rubrehaku with them. Actually, I need to think about stabilizers because... Oh, it's a pack of stabilizers. Is this a full packet? If this is a full packet, we're alright. I've looked through. He was heavily involved in the project, yeah. He was kind of like the ringleader for it to happen. You're doing Vint Browns. Nice, nice. Vint Browns, I love that. This looks like a full pack of stabilizers. I think I've just looked out and just happened to have some in my toolbox. Yeah, so we've got a full pack of Stabies nylon. So that will do for that. Excellent. That was lucky. So yes, I think Oblo was very much the guy that was pushing it. Obviously, he did them for in stock rather than full group buy, which is great of him. But I think he was pushing the TGR guys to get it made and Beep as well. So yeah, pretty cool though. Pretty cool. I'm sorry, the 3D printer's loud. I need to grease the bearings because it is getting loud lately. That's what lack of use does to 3D printers. The more you use them, the better they become, I find. And I've not used it for a couple of months. It's being a bit loud lately. So I apologise for the noise in the background. Normally I'd pause it for the stream. I've just got too much to print for the open day, so it has to go, I'm afraid. Okay, so not too long left. I can't see the Rubrehaku beating the Mia now. Let's start to just prep for the Mia. This is where someone comes out of the woodwork and just absolutely blasts the Rubrehaku up the thing. I like the Mia, just not a fan of the font type used for Mia. That's fair. You don't have to like everything. You are welcome to be wrong. if you don't mind me asking, what did it feel like taking a leap from your old profession into building PT? I can't imagine it's smooth sailing either. What did it feel like? It kind of felt like a bit like a fever dream. The Mia did win, so we were both building it. There's been good things and bad things. The good things are I control my own time. I get to be involved in projects that I absolutely love and adore. Like keyboards are my biggest hobby after cars, and I get to be involved with all sorts of cool stuff. I get to meet some cool people. I've been to some cool places because of keyboards. So for example, I've been to Novel Keys in the US. I've been to Seattle meetups. I've been to GMK's factory a couple of times now to see how they make keycaps. I've been to Cherry's factory to see how they make switches. I've managed to do all of these cool things. I've even managed to, through keyboards, go to the McLaren Formula One factory, and I've had, you know, and I've sold stuff to the Red Bull factory and things like that. Like we've done some really, really cool things. We've made our own products, designed our own key sets. You know, we've made the Midnight Rainbow and the JOG, the black on white and the white on black sets that we've designed. We've made all of the J series boards. We've been involved in over 500 different groups. It's been phenomenal. There are some downsides as well. Work-life balance doesn't exist. I never stop working. Like the first thing I do in the morning is check my company emails and see if I can respond to any customers straight away. Then I check Discord, and I have things to respond to on Discord every day of the week, and that's constant all day. It doesn't end. I don't earn anything from PT. I don't get a salary. I don't pay me anything. So there was a little bit of a crossover period where I was still working for the bank and when PT started. So I started PT in November 2019. And I worked for the bank up until spring of 2021, but most of 2020 I was on gardening leave until my contract expired, and they let me go. Since then I haven't earned any money through PT or anywhere. Like I've had small bits of income from some shares that I own and things like that, but I haven't had any real income. So that's been hard and that's been tough. So there's kind of like positives and negatives. Like it really depends on what your priority is. I've certainly got more grey hairs since I started PT, and they're not all age related. Most of them are stress related. But you know, like I've managed to do some cool things. Like we've managed to set the whole SPC up, which is absolutely fantastic. Wait, what? Don't leave us, Jay. Wait, what? Don't leave us? Who am I leaving? What the fuck's going on? Oh, it's Black Simon. All right, okay. It's just Simon. It's just Simon. Things. Simon being Simon. Yeah. Don't leave the US. I mean, I don't want to go to the US right now, so. Yeah, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. But thank you very much for the raid, Simon. I appreciate that. So yeah, as I say, one of the biggest things I've done, one of the things I'm most proud of is building up the SPC, which is that Twitch sub-channel. They have their own Discord. It's the greatest collection of human beings I've ever been part of, which is fantastic. So that was what I did before PT. It's not all been smooth sailing. There's been challenges. Some of the biggest negatives have been the losses that we've had to endure from other vendors going bankrupt. People like Brahma and My Key Club and MyKeyboard.eu and all of these companies, Mex & Co. and million and other companies, Captors Keycaps and all of these. They kind of like left us in the lurch with owing us either huge amounts of product or funds, and that's not great either. But it's one of those things, like you kind of have to take the rough with the smooth, and to do the thing you love, you have to fight through the pain sometimes, and that's what we've done. Tangus, thank you so much for 14 months of subs, dude. I thoroughly appreciate that. Let's hang out on stream soon on Good Keyboard Friends podcast. How do you determine which grey hairs are age and stress related? I'm not that old. Like, you know, I'm not that old. I should have very few grey hairs. They're saying that my brother's 5 years younger than me, and he's full of them. Like, his beard is full grey all the way down from here, all the way down to here. He has a very similar beard to me, and his beard is full grey, and he's half a decade younger than me. No F1 spoilers. Yeah, a wrong type of spoiler, Tangus. I don't mean the spoilers on the back of the car. I don't want to be told what's happening in the Mexico Grand Prix. So yeah. Simone said you were talking to people, so you must be wrapping up. No, I'm not wrapping up the stream. I haven't even started the keyboard build yet. I need to build this, yeah. Will you sell the ISO GR2? I'm not involved in that project, I'm afraid. Sorry. I'm starting to get some here and there on my mustache. Yeah, like I have a couple. More in my beard. but they're few and far between, really. I'm doing all right. There was a race and someone won. Yeah, Jay's a yapper. I do talk. I'm good at talking. Yeah. Silverback luck for the win. Yeah, like I like my hair's not great. My hair's still not great. I've got a little bit of grey on my temples, but like most of my hair is still, you know, dark brown. But yeah, it is what it is. Right, let's build the TGR Mia. Let's get it built. I started to grow grey in my 30s, embrace it, totally grey now almost. Yeah, I mean, like I'm only just 40. I did start to grow grey in my 30s, but like you know, I don't care if I go grey or not. I'd just rather it happen. I've made a mess of my hair now under my hat. Give me a second. That's better. It was tickling my forehead. So yeah, it's good communication. There's one thing that can be said for me talking constantly on stream. No one can ever say that I don't communicate as a vendor, right? Anyway, let's build a TGR Mia. So Oblopsky has sent me some switches for this. He sent me these, kindly sent me these with the board when I paid for the board. These are the oat switches from QK. So we're going to be stocking these really soon. He recommends them, so that's what we're going to put in the board. We're going to use these stabilizers that I found, which are Stabies. Yeah, Tengus, you've seen me in real life. You know how grey I am and how grey I'm getting. You've seen me not so long ago. We have a lot of stuff in here, so we'll go through that in a second. We have a giant spudger. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like some dodgy name on it. It just has KTM on it, which is fine. We have some feet in 2 colorways. I think we'll go for the dark ones, but we'll see. We have some screws, which we may need. We have some more screws. We have a Wilbur PCB and daughter board. I think this is a non-standard daughter board as well, just from looking at it. It's, take a look. Well, it's either the Stabies or I go run downstairs and I steal some Night V4s from stock clownfish. So I think we'll stick with the Stabies. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Yeah, so non-standard daughter board. Interesting. But it is a Wilbur and TGR PCB, and it's got Oblo's logo on as well, which is nice. We do have ISO support, excellent. There's a plate support ISO, oh excellent, we can build this ISO. So everyone's going to leave the stream because I'm going to build this ISO. But this is a personal board, so you don't get to help me choose. So we can build this ISO with split left shift, excellent, excellent, excellent. Yes, I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. Cool. We also get a nice drawstring bag to put the board in after we've built it, because of course we don't use the keyboards we build. The keyboards we build are designed to sit in cupboards and to go in drawers and to not be used, right? This is what the real use case for a keyboard is, right? It goes like this. It goes in one of these. You have you have one of these. This is what a keyboard life cycle looks like. It goes in a drawer like that. That's where they live. That's what they do. So we have a bag to put it in when it goes in the drawer. Excellent. Goes in the vault to never be seen again. Precisely. No one buys a keyboard to use. That'd be insanity. Don't listen to that Osled. What? Building Chinese ISO. No. Nice green, is that the production colour? For this, I don't know. Do you mean for the ENSO E? I think this will be an option for the ENSO, yeah. Gonna make Kalain solder my Theseus in ISO if we get the Theseus for the open day. I'm trying to make it happen. How often do I change my keyboard? Every couple of days. So like for the longest time, I've been using this, which is JMK Prussian Blue on a Cloudlight V2, which this is the stupidly heavy stainless steel edition. It's ridiculous. I've been using this daily for a few months now, but whenever I need something with a numpad, I've been busting out the ETAR 87 that we built on stream a couple of weeks ago. Prior to that, I was using a matrix board which had a separate numpad. So it really depends on what I'm doing, because like working and running a business, sometimes I need to write, so I want something small and compact where I can do a lot of quick typing. Other times I need to like write a presentation deck, so I need a few macro keys, so I'll bust out JL1. Or I'm doing some coding. Like if I'm ever coding, JL1 is my go-to board because I can put all my variables on macro keys and do different things with that. I rarely use an ergo keyboard. I'm only using the Enso E because it looks so beautiful. And it came the other day. What a pretty board that is. Stupidly pretty. So yeah, I change it fairly frequently. Because I'm streaming, I like a TKL for streaming, so that's why the Cloudline tends to be on my desk for that. Drunk soldering is the best kind of soldering. I'm not sure I agree with that. Have a little app running on the Pi to tell me what's next in rotation. Dude, send me the app. I'd love to have that. I'd love to use that. TGR Triss? Yeah, I have a Triss to build. So this particular Enso is not mine. This is on loan purely for the Prototypist Open Day in a couple of weeks. This is the MX version. It's not the EC version. But we do have a ton of Dynacap stuff downstairs that's already arrived and is ready to go on sale when it launches. Like that's already here and will be in stock soon. So this is a TGR Mia. It's very sleek on the inside. Nice classic profile. And then here's the base, which is pretty nice. It's got that lovely wedge to it too. It's pretty nice. Hoping to try some EC stuff at the open day. Yeah, I'm hoping we'll have a Blue Ridge built with EC that you can try. I don't know the Dynacap launch day off the top of my head, if I'm honest, Sixris. I need to wait for Omnitype and Clever to give me all the details. I'm going to be honest. Like I stream privileged Conan. This is a non-production color. So yeah. It's a non-production color. I'm very lucky to have it. I'm very spoiled. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is put the daughter board in because I want to make sure that's done. So we have to take the spudger, pop it under here, and then prise out the weight, which is stainless steel by the feel of it with magnets. And then you'll see that the internal weight is there with that Mia on it, and that bolts through into the case. But then what we can do is we can install the daughter board once we take that out. So we're going to take that out, grab some tools, if I don't drop everything. Yeah, I just got streamer privilege and got to pick one of the other colours. I would feel guilty about that, but I don't. I have not tested the PCB, no. It's a personal board, so I'm just going to build it raw. Okay, we should be able to lift that out as well. There we go. And now we can install the daughter board. Just going to unplug that from the PCB. Feed the cable through. Line it into the gap, and then we're just going to pop that in just like so. Now we should have some screws for this in the screw pack. I guess it's these. Interesting how you're going to do with the Toblerone screws. I hadn't planned on taking the Toblerone out. Do I need to take the Toblerone out? Oh, I do need to take the Toblerone out. Yeah, okay. I have no idea how this goes together. We'll make it as we go along. Okay, I need a different size screwdriver for this. I think that's going to be the size. Yep. Had some trouble getting them out because of the magnets. We'll see in a second.
Tasty, tasty.
Thank you so much, Fluffy Keeps, for the sub. I thoroughly appreciate that, dude. I think this is the first time Simon's ever raided, you know? Like, I didn't think Simon liked me enough to raid. I'm not sure I want to be liked by Simon. That feels a bit weird. Pretty similar to the ME. Yeah, it feels very, very similar to the other TGR boards I've built recently. Whoops. Stuck to my finger. Simon stream got moved because of a meetup this week. Fair. Okay. Now we can remove the Toblerone. Which comes out just like that. Pop that to one side. And now we can take out the screws for the rest of the case. And so it's gorgeous. Yeah. Simon streams on Saturdays. Yeah, I usually watch Simon, to be honest. I'm in most streams, even if I don't talk. I just have him on quietly in the background usually. You were the first person he asked if it was live. Really? Oh, bless him. Has he got a little crush, maybe? I don't know. No shortage of screws? Hey man. How do you know your keyboard's put together if it doesn't have 64 different screws, right? Well, I am going to put the Mia piece back in just to cover the daughterboard cable in a second. So we're going to kind of do this in a backwards roundabout way. The Enso is gorgeous. I'll show the Enso in more details at the end of the stream, I think. I did not pick up either of those boards, I'm afraid, Kesey. No. Right, let's put the Mia logo back in. I'm almost tempted to be silly and put it upside down. I don't know why, but there we go. Wouldn't be a TGR if there weren't 1,000 screws. Something like that, right? Okay, so put this one back in. And then I'm going to put the feet in, and then the board is ready for the next step. Okay, so I'm just going to pop the weights to one side so I don't damage them. There we go, and then I can stop worrying about them. Let's put some feet on. I'm going to go for the dark feet rather than the light feet. Void 65 extras. Void 65 extras should be in stock. If they're not in stock, it's because they've sold out. But we did have extras of the Void 65. Last I checked, there was one in stock like last week. I don't know if that's sold or not, but we did sell most of them very, very quickly. Like I think something like 90% of them sold within the first couple of hours of being on sale. They were pretty good. And we did build one for a customer. Unfortunately, it came with a DOA PCB, but that is being replaced, and we should have the replacement here soon. So we'll have a bit of a stream where we desolder that and resolder it, I think, after the open day. 2 left. Okay, cool. We'll each of kits 3 and 4. Yeah, that's all we've got left, I'm afraid. Okay, so that's that done. Let's take the top case off. Very, very simple construction. Ready for top mount later. It really does remind me of the 910 that we have. What 910 is it? I think it's the GAF 910. The build just really reminds me of that. Okay, so next job, let's get some stabilizers ready. Just gonna put down my trusty waffle cloth. Put these screwdrivers away. And we've got stabilizers here and here. Okay, so we're going to build this ISO, which means we need, well, I'm going to build it with full backspace, ISO enter, and split left shift. And we're going to go for, because this is 65 with a blocker, I think we're going to go for a 6.25U space. You guys can tell me that's wrong if you want, but I think we're going to go for the 6.25U because that's the layout I prefer, and this is a personal build. I see you went hunting again and shot a wolf. Yeah, yeah. These desk mats are so cool. Like I'm a huge fan. The tiger one sadly got a little bit of damage during the stream, but the wolf one is looking good. Okay, so let's get these ready. I'm gonna lubricate them in a second. No long screw holes this time. Yeah. What does the Gaff 910 look like? Let me dig it out for you. I will show you. Give me a second. I'll grab it. I need to remember which drawer it's in, but it's in one of the drawers behind me. Okay. Let me find the 910. Did I leave it out? I did show it on stream the other day, but this is the Gaff 910. This is got OG cherry die subs on it, which is a mixture of two OG sets. One is UK ISO set, and the other is the German DE set just for the Q and the M, because the Q's got the at on and the M's got the mu symbol on. So it's pretty cool. But it's got the Gaff logo up in the top corner here. We also got a Kippur on there, row 5 bottom, because it's nice. Very, very similar profile to the Mia, if you look, almost identical. And then on the base, the construction is slightly different. On the base, excuse the fingerprints, but it does have the TGR and the Gaff style here, and the Gaff logo there as well. And it has some pretty cool Gaff artwork. And then it has the polished stainless steel on top with the Gaff logo as well. Excuse the fingerprints, it doesn't get much use. In fact, I think it's been used twice since I built it. And I built it for the MK UK meetup in London a couple of years ago. I can't even remember what switches we used in this. Oh, Gator on ink switches, there you go. Gator on inks. We'll figure out what we're going to do with artisans when we pick a key set dynamics. We could put an artisan on it. I do have plenty of them. Depending on what key set you pick. In fact, if you guys pick Hyper Beige, I have the perfect artisans for it. So remember that and try and pick Hyper Beige when we do the key set vote. These are why you'll want to vote for Hyper Beige, because I have these that I haven't used yet. Look how cute these are. These are the CYSM artisans for it. They're actually for Hyperfuse, but they'll work really, really well with Hyper Beige. And I haven't actually used these on a build yet. But these will work super, super well for it. The cabinet's Bisley. I had them custom make some front drawers for me with handles rather than, because Bisley tends to have like an undergrip handle all the way across it, but I wanted it flat with my own handles on, so they made it flat for me, and then I just machined some of my own handles on. Yeah, look how cute this is. Look at this cute little guy. So yeah, so we will use these on if you pick Hyper Beige. Oh, the Gurikawa ones? Yeah, the Gurikawa artisans are over here. These are out from Alpha Keycaps a couple of weeks ago. But these came out super, super nicely. Look at this. Look at it. Look how beautiful it is. I wonder what Simon's thoughts on resin are, actually. He probably hates it, right? I can't imagine Simon is a resin fan. Hollow Knight vibes? That's fair. Anything but zooted. Yeah. Right, okay. Let me find my lube pen, because it's not out, and I've been moving everything around in my office for the past week. I'm going to need that. And I'm going to need that. There should be a soldering iron somewhere, yeah. I'm going to need that. Alright, where's my lube pen gone? Get these all lubricated up. He still doesn't like it because it's too expensive. Artisans and resin can get stupidly expensive. I've got a couple of thousand in the drawers behind me, and I dread to think what I've spent on them over the years. So we're just using XHT BDZ here. We're just going to put a nice amount on the wire. Not too much, just a nice thin coating. Using BDZ, you don't need too much. The lube pens, yeah, we're restocking more of them. The 3203 is out of stock at the minute, but BDZ and 205 grade 0 are in stock. But there is a whole raft of other ones coming that I just got confirmation had shipped on Friday, which means I now need to pay the invoice for them. So we'll get that sorted on Monday. But yeah, Garrett let me know that there's a whole raft of other ones on the way, so we've invested in some of those. I can't remember if 205 grade... sorry, 3203 is in there, but there's some other ones. There is some other ones, but yeah. I wouldn't recommend 3203 for stabilizers. How does the BDZ work if it gets a little stiff over time as it dries? I've cleaned out some stabs from the BDZ and never fully understood how that works. I'm not sure I follow your question. I've not had any issues with it drying out over time. So I'm not quite sure I understand the question. I've had zero issues with that. Although I do tend to prefer 205 grade 0 for stabs. I think it's just a little bit more malleable and easier to tune later on after the stabs have been built. Oh, why do you not want to go in? There you go. But I've not had any issues with BDZ. Although I haven't been using it for that long. I'm a bit of a recent convert to it. I always thought it was a bit of a cheat code for stabs. But as I get older, I realise I have less time for that kind of gatekeeping in my life. Okay, last one. 206, yeah, that's one of the new lube pens that's coming. I'm not sure I'm supposed to say that, but it is. And before Garrett tells me off for stealing his thunder and announcing something before I'm supposed to. Do you ever check the wires for straightness and balance? It depends. So the answer to that depends on the stabilizer manufacturer. With Stabies, I tend not to have a problem with it, so I tend not to. Same with Knights. If I was using cherry stabs, like if I was using clip-ins because I was going to build something O-ring, I absolutely would. If I'm building customer boards and they ask me to, I absolutely do. But I do have some straightening tools and things like that. The Geon stem straighteners, not stem straighteners, stabilizer wire twisters. But I generally think that most wires are straight enough for most people. Like, there's only like, you know, the top 2% of people in the hobby that need to worry about stabilizer wires being straight. Okay, right. So we've now lubricated. In fact, well, we need to do the slide rails. I'm rushing ahead of myself. So I now want a little bit less lube on the brush, and I'm just going to very gently paint a really thin amount on the side of the sliders. Really, really thin. I'm only wanting this to help reduce friction. I'm not trying to gum it up or make it slow down or anything like that. So just a really, really fine amount. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I had a ticking stab. Like, it was a long time ago, and most of the customer builds I do are off stream, and they get a lot more care and attention than my personal builds do. Yeah, it's 1 degree thicker in terms of the scale is 206. It's 1 degree thicker. It's a little bit closer to BDZ, but it's not quite as thick. Okay, there we go. Cool. But lube pens make life so much easier, and I'm about comfort and ease these days. Okay, so time to install these. We're going for ISO enter, which we'll pop in first. And this is, I appreciate where a lot of people leave the stream because they see ISO and they hate it. Where are the screws? Want green PCB? There was a time when all PCBs in the hobby were green because people didn't realize you could order different colors. Right, what size are you? That. And remember, when you're screwing stabilizers in, you only want to go finger tight and then a quarter turn more. You don't want to go so tight that you snap the PCB. Yes, I've seen people screw them in that tight that it's crushed the PCB. You just want to go in until the screwdriver just naturally stops turning and just it feels that resistance, and then just a quarter turn more. That's all you need. All you don't do is prevent the stabilizer lifting out. You're not trying to crush it into the PCB or anything like that. Okay, next we'll do backspace. What's your favourite stabs so far? I'd probably say the night stabs are my current favourites. Type pluses are also good. We've got more stock of those coming soon. But nights are probably my favourite. I do like stabies. I think stabies are really good as long as you're not using PBT keycap sets. I've had a few problems with PBT keycaps on stabies, but they're still really nice. You do it based on finger turn, not wrist turn. I felt like it was getting cross-threaded for a minute, but it's not. Yeah, just a quarter turn, because I'm trying to say you want to turn the screw a quarter turn, so it's easier to show that with a wrist movement of a quarter turn than it is to show it with fingers. Like realistically, like if I just back this off a little bit, if I'm not on stream, like I'm just gonna go like that and then do that. But you know, different strokes for different folks, right? And then we're gonna go for the 6.25U slot. Oops, I hope I got the right way around. It's a north-facing wire. You gonna go in? There we go. All but one of my boards use clip-in. The one time I used screw-in is the screw head snapped off because I cranked it down way too much. Yeah, I've had people send boards in for repair before, and they've literally tightened the screws so tight that it's actually cranked the PCB. And you know, if you do that around your enter key, there's so many different wires internally there, it's easy to damage stuff. The other common one is people not using washers with stabs. I know if you've been in the hobby for more than a few years, at one point stabilizers did not come with washers, and we used to do things like put bits of tape on the PCB and then screw through the tape. That was really common until washers became standardized. There we go. All nice and done. Yeah, there's been a ton of mods that people would look back on now and cringe at. But I've seen, even though we include washers with almost every stabilizer that's on the market today, I've still seen people build without them. It's insane sometimes. Okay, right, let's move the waffle cloth up a little bit more. And we can get ready to solder. Okay, switches next. Wrist movements, different strokes, something like that, right? Yeah. All describe your favorite wrist movements in chat. Don't. That's probably a terrible idea to ask me to do. So we're just going to pop the plate fork in, and we're going to start popping switches in on the bottom row. These are the oats from QWERTY keys. These were recommended by Oblotsky. He sent me them with the board, so that's what we're going to use. I wonder if he charged me extra for these or not. I don't know. Gateron stabilizer. Learn my lesson. I don't overdo it now. Yeah, you just want to go and until you feel some resistance and it's flush, and then a little turn more. You know, maybe a quarter of the rotation. You don't need to do much. You're not trying to kill the PCB or to force the stabilizer to you know, be inside the PCB. You're just trying to hold it in place. That's all you're trying to do. If you try and eat a salad with a plate fork, Mr. Kalain, please send me a video. I'd love to see that. I will donate you a plate fork if you promise to do that. Those switches, yeah. Seem quite quiet, but I do have my headphones on, so I can't hear them until we do the build. They feel actually pretty smooth. Pretty smooth. Don't know why I didn't do these two before. I missed those. So it felt like we had a bent pin, and we do. You watch, Hilla sent me enough switches for an ANSI build, and I'll need one more for ISO, so I'll be one switch short. Let's leave the escape key blank, just in case that's what happens. I think it would be good to twirl spaghetti on, maybe. Hey, if someone promises to eat a full meal with a plate fork, I will send you a plate fork for free to do that with. Nixie for the space, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how many switches we have. He might have sent enough. He knows I'm an ISO user. He probably thought of that when he packed the switches up for me. I mean, he's a very thoughtful guy. So I'm sure he thought of it. Although I was supposed to invite him on the onto the stream when I did build this, and I completely forgot all about it. So he'll probably be upset with me about that, and that would be quite righteous of him to be. I feel bad already. Okay, we're gonna go stepped caps because stepped caps is best. Let's get the split left shift done. And then we're going to go for a 1.25U bottom row because we've gone for the 6.25U spacebar. Should be like that. And then we can do the top row. Use the small end. That's alright. You can use the small end if you like. I like using the big end. Do I prefer stepped caps for touch typing? More of a visual thing, to be honest. I just think it looks nicer. It does help with touch typing because it gives you another reference for homing, but I just think it looks nicer. I think that's because I like vintage boards, and it was kind of like the de facto standard on many vintage boards for a long time, especially in with cherry keycaps. Alright, he sent us plenty of switches. We're good. We're good. Okay, last 2 switches, and then we can start some soldering. Okay. This is our plate and PCB assembly. Time to solder it all together. This is a polycarbonate plate. I'm just going to do a quick visual check for bent pins and make sure all the switches are fully inserted. All I'm doing is checking that the base of the switch is protruding through the PCB to the level it should be, making sure they're all even, and making sure each switch has 2 pins showing. I've already found one that doesn't. We've got a bent pin here. So, where is my switchboard? So you can see here we had a bent pin. Camera, please. I'm just going to straighten that up. Reinsert that. And then keep on doing that visual inspection just to make sure we've not got any more bent pins. Everything's looking good so far. Cool, we are good. It is time to start soldering. Which means, guys, it's time for you to ask any question that you'd like. So if you've ever had a question you'd like to ask me, or if you think you can ask me a question that I can't answer, all you need to do is just tag me at jprototypist and ask me a question. Ask any question you like, as long as it's stream safe for me to answer. Any topic you like, and yeah, let's see if you can stump me. Those are always the best questions. Yeah, loop pens. These are in stock on the Prototypist website right now. This is XHT BDZ. We've also got 205 grade 0 in stock, and there's some more coming in stock in the next week or so. Do you know why we're getting GMK Windbreaker and not DCS? Which do you think would have sold more? I think that GMK Windbreaker is selling more than DCS Windbreaker ever did sell. I don't know if a rerun of DCS Windbreaker would sell as many or not. You know, DCS has seen a bit of a revival recently, which is great. It's still not selling anywhere near the numbers that GMK sells. So yeah. Am I right in thinking you think I tend to prefer a CF plate? Yeah, like I do like a CF plate. I am a huge fan of carbon fiber plates. I think it's nice, it's clacky, it's loud, it's my kind of sound profile. Anyway, ask your questions, tag me with @jprototypist. Best question gets a free desk mat. I'll send whoever asks the best question a desk mat out. So ask your questions and we'll go from there. Just grabbing the cable for my soldering iron. Are the loop pens good for both stabs, wires, and switches? Yeah, I use XHT BDZ for the stabs, for both wires and for the sliders. For switches, I would probably use a 205 grade 0 one, but it's a long time since I've looped switches myself. I just do not have the time, so I tend to outsource any switch looping that I do these days. But it'd be perfect for that. Right, I'm just going to solder a couple of pins in the center just to get the build held together nicely. Right, first question is from Bazooka. It says, if you were starting over, what name would you choose if PT was not available? So originally, I had talked with Brian about doing a store under the Top Clack brand, because I thought Top Clack was a great name, and I think that would have been ideal. There was some other store names in suggestion at the time. There was like I don't know, there was like 10 or 12 people that knew I was setting up a store. Before PT existed and before we announced it, and most of them had asked for feedback on the name. Prototypist was actually one of the ones up there quite early on, because we were making a lot of prototypes at the time, and typist and prototype, and it was just a good play on words, and I liked it. So I was a huge fan of that from the bat, but we couldn't think of a good logo for it. And we never did come up with a great logo for it, apart from Ozzy the Octopus, which is on our t-shirts and badges and stickers, which I don't have one to hand, unfortunately. But I wanted like a really simple logo, so I kind of put Prototypist out of my mind for a little bit, and we did look at some other names. So there were things like Clack Factory, but then Thock Factory came out, so we couldn't use that. Yeah, there was some other ones putting on the word typist. Yeah, there were all terrible names. And I don't think prototypist is particularly good as a name, but it was the one that ultimately stuck. If I could go back in time, I'd probably try and argue with Brian. If I couldn't use prototypist, I'd probably argue with Brian more about using the Top Climb brand. But we had a long chat about it and decided ultimately it wasn't a good idea because we were doing a lot of different things on the podcast at that time in life. If you would be king, would you build keyboards? If I was king, would I build keyboards? Yeah, like, it's a hobby. I wouldn't stop doing my hobbies just because I was some powerful oligarch. You know, like I'd probably want to spend more time doing my hobbies, right? I guess it depends. I don't know how much downtime the king has. I imagine he has some, but not as much as I do. Or you do, but yeah, I wouldn't stop doing my hobbies just because I was king. I feel like that would be no matter what job I had, I don't think I'd ever stop doing my hobbies, and keyboards are absolutely one of those hobbies. I did have someone reject me for a job actually, because they knew that I streamed and they didn't want their brand associated with that when I was looking for work recently. If there is one thing you could change with a snap of your fingers in an instant, what would it be and why? People being disadvantaged, so poverty, all of that kind of stuff. If I could change that with a snap of my fingers, I absolutely would. I'd want everyone to be comfortable. I don't think everyone needs to be rich or anything like that, but I think if I could change one thing with a snap of my fingers like Thanos, wouldn't be to get rid of half the population of the universe. It would be to just have everyone be able to live a comfortable life and not have to worry about where their next meal was coming from or how their electricity bill was going to get paid. I think those kind of things should be what we're trying to get away from as a society. You know, those should be basic human rights, to have the right to have enough food to keep you, you know, not hungry and sustained, and enough nice shelter to not have to worry about the cost of your electricity and, you know, heating and things like that. I think that's what I'd like to be in the world. You know, I'd like to bring all that to the world if I had the opportunity to. Good question. Would PT be open to taking keyboard designs from independent designers in the UK? Yeah, we do all the time. We work with UK designers constantly to bring new products, you know, whether it be keyboards, keycap sets. We've worked with a ton of UK designers over the years. You know, we've worked with James AKB before. We've worked with some of the designers that came out of Caps Unlocked for PCBs and things like that. We've done our own internal designs, and we're a UK-based company. So yeah, there's absolutely opportunity there. We offered Noxury help when Zondat was struggling a couple of years ago. Maybe I shouldn't have offered them the help in the end, but I did. So yeah, we would absolutely work with UK designers, and we do. You know, we've worked with Beasley recently on keycap sets, and yeah, it's something that happens quite commonly. We were lead vendors for some of Tom's projects. We designed some boards with Tom. You know, when he did GMK Fuji, we had the 60% prototype, the Isla that he designed. We produced all the prototypes for that. Yeah, so. Tenue spacebar is the only thing missing for Windbreaker that DCS had. I know GMK doesn't do Tenue. Yeah, they don't, and they won't do Tenue. I've got CF in one of my Pangeas with HMX Macchiatos. Not a fan of the HMX Macchiato switches, but I do like the Pangea, and I do like CF as a plate. Where is the fume extractor? My lungs are the fume extractor. I'm not worried about the fumes from keyboards. Like, this is leaded solder, but we're not heating the solder up to the point where the lead is actually going to be gaseous. So I'm not worried about that. Sure, the resin fumes from the resin core is probably not great, but it's not something that's going to be a worry. But don't do as I do, kids. Always solder in a well-ventilated area. If you could meet your future self, would you want to? No. I think I think that would be a bad idea for a number of reasons. Yeah, like, what could my future self tell me? I don't understand what my future self could tell me that I would need to know now. Sure, they could give me next week's lottery numbers, but that's not going to be a great thing ultimately. It would only work from a selfish perspective, and I'm trying to make myself a better person and be less selfish than I am, because I'm incredibly selfish most of the time. So yeah, I'm trying to work away from that. Do you wish the custom keyboard hobby stayed as a niche or be more mass market? Like, I think I preferred a lot of the community element when it was quite niche, like 5-6 years ago, 10 years ago. But I think that the race to the bottom in terms of the mass market appeal has opened a lot of doors for a lot more people to become involved in keyboards. It's reduced that entry point to kind of like such a low point that almost anyone can become interested in keyboards now, and that's kind of a double-edged sword. It's great for getting people involved, and it's great for the companies that can produce 10, 20, 30,000 keyboards a month, but it hurts kind of like grassroots designers, because it then makes their projects that are $500 look insanely expensive compared to like a Neo or a QK that's $100, and you can't get anywhere near that kind of value for price point. You're not adding that much value other than exclusivity for an extra $350, and that makes it a hard proposition and a hard pill to swallow for many people. So it's a double-edged sword, but it's the way that all hobbies grow. As hobbies grow, they become more mass market by default because they're growing, and that leads to some opportunities and some deficits. And it's kind of like a question of which way that's going to go for you. I think it makes it harder to be a vendor. Absolutely. Prototypist sounds refined, like a monocle. I like. Thanks, man. Can you name the capital of Canada? It's not what everyone thinks, is it? Is it? Like, is it? I don't know. Is it like? See, I think is the trap here that it's going to be like Australia and it's not Sydney, it's Melbourne or whatever it is. Canberra. Is it going to be like that? Am I going to say it's going to be, one Toronto and it's not Toronto? Is it Ottawa or something? Like, is that where we're going with this? I don't know. It's Toronto or Ottawa. That's what I'm going to stick with. I should know that because I have a friend that lives there. If you were in government, what would you do to help small businesses in the UK? The first thing I would do is I would revert the national insurance changes for business contributions back to the old methodology, because that has cost me about 10 grand already this year, more than it would have done last year, which makes operating on the revenue that we do nigh on impossible. Like, it's such a big change that it makes staffing so much more expensive, and that is ultimately across the economy going to cost people their jobs because companies can no longer afford to pay people. That's the first thing I'd do. The second thing I'd probably do is make it easier for businesses to generate income in terms of generating business loans and things like that, because right now, if you're a new company, you don't already have a proven track record, it's really difficult to get funding in the UK. PT has been lucky that I've always been able to fund it, but other companies aren't that lucky, so I'd do something for that. And then the third thing I'd probably do is controversial, but I think it is level the playing field in a bit of a way. I would absolutely get rid of the VAT threshold. I would say if you are a business in the UK, you need to be VAT registered and charging VAT. The reason for that is because a lot of companies struggle to do the transition. They start off as not being VAT registered because they're selling less than 90 grand a year in revenue, and they don't charge customers that 20%, and then all of a sudden they have to start charging the customers that 20% when they hit that revenue target, and their customer base goes, whoa, you're 20% more expensive now, I'm not buying from you. If they got rid of that, and just made it, you know, flat, it would help so many more businesses scale, and no one would be trying to con their way under the 90 grand a year limit. So, which happens a lot. You see a lot of companies fudge their figures to stay under it. Like we do that a month, so we absolutely can't get away with it. But there are other companies who do that. So yeah, that's what I'd change. Right, let's catch up with these chats. How often do you change your tips on the pine sill? Very, very rarely. I think that's only the second tip this has ever had, and it's still in great condition. That's probably done 500 keyboards, I guess. Is P taking part-timers? No, we're not staff. We're not hiring at the moment. If you tried to fail and succeed, which have you done? So you're trying to fail. So you're trying to, let's say, do something simple like add 2 plus 2, and you get the answer wrong. You succeeded because you were trying to fail. But if you get the answer right, you succeeded because you got the answer right, but you failed because you got the answer right and you were trying to get the answer wrong. I think that's right. Do you have any experience with the call digit docs like the TS5? If yes, would you recommend? No, I don't have any experience, I'm afraid, Mangaroki. Sorry. That's a pageant answer. Is it? Okay. I assume that's referring back to when I said I'd get rid of poverty and inequality. But yeah, like let's go for world peace, you know, like the whole what's that film with Sandra Bullock in where she goes harsher punishments for parole violators, and then she goes and world peace. That's the kind of thing, isn't it? Mr. Clinton says, what period of history and place would you most like to get a chance to live in for a few years or so? If I could go back to any time, I'd like to go back to the high Renaissance. So, you know, and be in that kind of area, be around people like Leonardo da Vinci, just see what life was really like for them and understand how they were making so many technological advancements in a time where science was almost prohibited. That's what I'd like to see. Do you think a Thoccaccino would make a satisfying sound when you sip it? How would you make one? A Thoccaccino, it's going to have Thoccaccino. Okay, so this is my idea for a Thoccaccino. You would do a shot of espresso. You would steam the shot of espresso like milk and get it rich and fluffy. Like a Chino just sounds like a fluffy drink, like a cappuccino. It's fluffy. It's vibrant. Thoccaccino means you're going to have something in there that's a little bit punchy, a little bit sour maybe. So you're going to have to add something with a bit of tang to it. Maybe orange. Maybe you could put a slice of orange on top of the puck as you're pulling your espresso before you steam it. So you get a little bit of tart tanginess in there. So orange on top of the puck of coffee when you're pulling your espresso shot. Whip the cream with air. Steam the espresso with air to make it nice and thick and fluffy over ice, and then drizzle on like a caramel sauce. That's what I go with, something like that. That's the best answer I've ever heard. Wait, what did I say? What did I say, Clownfish? I have no idea what did I say? What did I say? Hi all, hope you're having a nice weekend. Thank you, Richard. I hope you're doing well, man. Fugumi, hey man, good to see you. Captain Reed's getting angry, and the person who throws $1,000 at fuck ups of other people selfish. Yeah, I'm like, dude, like I am like I don't have children because I don't want to not have toys, right? Like I want to have my classic cars and my watches and things, so I choose not to have children. That's very, very selfish of me. Incredibly selfish. Calgary? Okay, I knew it was one of those. Yeah. If everything eventually ends, why do we always fear ending so much? Do you know why, Jehovah? The honest answer to this is FOMO. Like, people fear endings because they don't want to miss out. That's it. The whole reason why death scares so many people is because you're scared of the world going on without you. You have a fear of missing out on everything that's going to happen after you're gone. That's literally what it is, and that's why FOMO sells products as well. Same thing. How would you feel about an open source guide to fix keyboards in terms of PCBs? I've seen some PCB design guides, but not many regarding how to diagnose and fix them in the context of keyboards. So Digger 7, I think that's a great idea. I think there are some little bits out there that I've seen how to put jumper wires from hot swap sockets and, you know, glue hot swap sockets in when you've snapped the trace and things. But yeah, I don't think there's a good guide. I would absolutely put that on the PT website. If someone wrote it and sent me pictures and had like a little guide, I would 100% create some blog posts and put that on the website, because I think it'd be great to have, even if it was for none of the PT products. Like, absolutely. Canberra, sure. The other London, yeah. Younger me would not like who I've become. I imagine everybody changes and you wouldn't want to meet a future version of yourself that you wouldn't like. Yeah, I am scared for the person that I could become. I know that I could become someone I don't like, and I wouldn't want to see that. And I think that the 16, 18-year-old version of Jay would be absolutely devastated by how I become. 18-year-old me would wonder why I wasn't a multimillionaire by now and living a life of luxury, and would be very, very upset that that hadn't happened, and would probably look at the fact that I dress like a tramp and have a huge thick beard and work in a workshop when, you know, the young version of me thought I would have my own office and things like that. You know, I don't think younger me would appreciate the maker side of me. So yeah. As a Canadian in the UK, I can safely say it's Ottawa, but Toronto is a better city to visit. Yeah, I have been to Toronto a long time ago, but I did think it was Ottawa, which is why I said, well, just to cover myself. Hey, Hammer Brother, thanks for being here. Miss Congeniality, that is the name of the film. Yes, that's what I was thinking of. Is there any ASCII F news? All updates will be on our updates pages. You can always check those out. I think Jay might be into his coffee, just a tad. Yeah, I am into coffee. The capital of Canada is not Calgary. The people of Calgary are my bitter rivals. Younger me would death be appalled at my ego death. Yeah, I feel that. Is death the opposite of life or a necessary part of it? Life and death are two very different things. I don't think they're opposites, and I don't think they're the same thing. Is death a necessary part of life? Well, it's the ending of life, which is necessary, but I think that's very different. Death is, when you are dead, it's the same as before you were born. You just, you know, like, you don't know of anything that happened before you were born. When you die, I believe that's, and you may believe something different, and that's cool. We can all believe different things and still be friends. I'm pretty certain that once I'm gone, I'm gone. And that's okay. I'm cool with it. My friend was listening to stream the other day, and they said Jay's just as into coffee as you, and I was like, you're quite a bit off there, and had to get him to talk about his roastery business and Liverpool machine. Wait, do you think I'm more into coffee than you are? That's interesting. Right, okay, anyway, back to the build. So we have finished soldering, and we have not tested the PCB. We are just going to trust that it works. So next job is to mount the PCB and plate assembly into the case, which we're going to do through the top mount method. And we're going to grab the screws that are here. Pick a winner before I forget.
Incredible.
A winner for what? Is one of the mods put up a poll? Pick a winner for what? What am I picking? Oh, for the best question. I think the best question, I did say one was a really good question. What was that? What was the one I said was a really good question? So I did say there was a really good question, but I can't remember which question it was. Was it the one about the Frankies, about the government? I can't remember. Can someone scroll back through the stream and find out what I said was a really good question? Because that was the one. Meeting your future self. Oh, wait, maybe it was meeting your future self. Yeah, maybe it was. I think it was. Someone could double check, but I think it was meeting your future self. I don't know who asked the question. Whoever asked the question about meeting your future self. Baz's question about the PTM. Was that the one I said? Oh, can someone scroll back in stream and just figure out what I said was a good question? We'll go with that, whatever it was. If someone could be so kind. Please and thank you. Oh, I messed that up, didn't I? What are you doing, Jay? What are you doing? There we go. Oh. Absolutely messed that up. Start again. That's better. It's 50-50 if I remember a question. It was snap with the finger. Oh, okay. If it was a future self, it might be new. Well, Chaos has said it was the snap with the finger. What would I change? So that was the question. Whoever asked that question, they win the prize then. If that's been validated by someone checking, that's who wins the prize. Who asked that question about snapping the finger and changing something? For me, is top mount the only mounting style? As far as I know, yes. But top mount is probably my favorite mount overall. Of all of the mounts, I think top mount is probably my favorite. Yeah, the Thanos question. Was that you, Danabix? Excellent. Excellent. Well done, dude. Well done. Why the preference for top mount? I prefer the feel. I think there's two mounts that I really like. Top mount is one because I like the way it feels, and it just harkens back to that traditional kind of keyboard enthusiast build. The other one I like is like where we do the JR1, where we do a gasket that encapsulates the plate and it's fully isolated. O-ring is fine depending on the board. I think some boards work really well with it, some boards work without it, but I do like other boards with other mount types. Like I sometimes like Gion's tadpole style mount boards, and there's all sorts of I love the Canoe's bottom mount that the original Canoe had. So I do like other mounts. I just think that if I could only ever pick two mounts going forwards, it would be the JR1 isolation mount, which we've used in the JR2 and we will use in the JR3 as well, or it'd be just good old fashioned top mount. Like there's just so little wrong with top mount as a system that it's always nice to use. Right, okay, time to get the board fully reassembled. So we're going to install the JST cable just like so. Make sure it's laid in its trough, like so. Flip the board over, and then we can install the screws. The first thing we're going to do is install the long screws, because we need to do the wrong screwdriver, Jay. What are you doing? Because we need to do these prior to doing the Toblerone weight, and we're going to go diametrically opposed for these just to spread the weight out evenly. Probably don't need to do this, but it's a habit I've picked up over the years. I'm just going to go diagonally. No, we'll test the PCB afterwards. It's fine. Like if it doesn't work, like I'm not going to change the PCB anytime soon. It just won't get used. Like the reason I'm building the board now rather than waiting a couple of weeks is because I want it to be on display for the open day. So as long as the build works and sounds nice, we're okay. If the PCB happens to not work, at least people can still type on the board and hear what it sounds like, and it's still viable. You know, I'm fairly sure it'll work. I'm fairly sure it'll be fine. Magnets are a neat touch. Thanks, man. Glad you appreciate it. The Mia? Yeah. My only O-ring board, the O-rings kept snapping. That's the only mounting type I don't really like. That's fair. Do you have any qualms about the magnetic weight on the newer TGR boards? I've had no issues with them, other than one magnet once got stuck to the base when I pulled the thing off, and a little bit of glue, and it was fine to put it back in the thing. I have no problems with it. I think it's a fine solution. We've used magnets for the top cases of the JR1 series and JR2 series for a couple of years now, and it's all been fine. So yeah, I have no issues or qualms with it. Time to pop on the Toblerone. There we go. This is a TGR Mia. Yeah, it's a new board that just went in stock at Oblotsky a couple of days ago. Or PT have Mia too? No regional? No, this is just a personal board. Maybe for future rounds, but for round one, it's only with them. Did someone say they had an issue with these screws and the magnets? Because I had no issues with that. That felt nice and easy. Okay, so I need to get this on the right way because that goes in this bottom corner. So there's a little ledge here that you use to pry it off effectively when it's on the board. You're going to pry it off like that. And that goes in this bottom corner here. So just get it the right way around. Boom. And that's the board built. Okay, let's give the PCB a test now. Do I have a spare cable? I do. You can hear a bleep, I think. Oh wait, the cable's not long enough, I don't think. It'll do. Right, let's grab a switch hitter and let's test the PCB and make sure it works. So let's see what we've got. All looking good so far. I've got it on ISO, but as long as those keys reflect something, that's fine. Caps lock is working. Shift key. Okay, let's flick that. In fact, you know, let's flick this over to ISO just so we can see. Okay, so we're not getting a response from that key, but that could just be via arrows working and all working there. Is FN working? Yeah, FN's working. So yeah, so we are all good on the PCB layout here. Everything's working apart from the split left shift, but that could just be the VIA details that we need to update at some point. So I'm not too fussed about that. I'm fairly sure we solved it. I can't see if we'd have missed it. So yeah, cool, excellent. Everything works. These are the QK out switches, or the Neo out switches. I'm going to scratch the hell out of it trying to level that plate up. Wait, what? Just drop it on. Just drop it on. Yeah. Right, okay. Now it's time for you guys to choose some keycaps. So if a friendly moderator is around and can set up a poll, that'd be great. And I'll let you guys pick. So for the poll, we're going to have a few choices. I have Pepper Bait, GMK Verdant Retro, which is nice shades of green. I promise that's green. Can't see the bag. Hyper Beige, which is relatively new and in stock. And you can pick that up right now in stock on the PT website. And if we do use Hyper Beige, we'll pick up one of the CYSM artisans we looked at earlier. Or finally, the final choice is the new Swag Keys polished UV sets. This is the highly gloss finished keycaps. Whoops. And when I say highly gloss finished, these are super, super shiny. These are some of the shiniest keycaps, and this is how they come from factory. These are in stock and ready to ship. These are super, super glossy, super shiny. Camera, please. These are the 4 options. So if a moderator is able to put those up, let me know. If not, I'll put the poll up in a second. Super duper shiny. Ah, thank you, Mr. Moderator, whoever that was. So those are your choices for keycap sets. I'm sure I can think of a nice artisan to go with the shiny caps if you do pick those. Grey on black. It is the grey Mia, which I think is pretty limited. See how the vote's going. So Pepper Bait is leading at the minute. Interesting. I genuinely thought that the polished Swag Keys keycaps would win this today. I thought people would want to see them. I'm gonna try saying camera please when I forget my glasses in the morning. Dude, like, it's so frustrating that the camera sometimes doesn't focus and sometimes does. Would there be a Pepper R2? I have no idea. I wasn't involved in that. There's going to be Divina Papaya in GMK, which is very similar and very similar sort of thing, but it's not quite the same. So that's going to be, yeah, something soon. And I've realised that, wow, my emails have gone absolutely nuts whilst I've been streaming. Would love to see a 60% 910. It wouldn't be a 910 though, then, would it? Divina is a bit more light blue. It's the closest that that there is going to be, I think. I don't think there's going to be a Pepper Bait R2. Like, I'd be really surprised if there was. What do you think might be one thing that could make the keyboard community grow much faster instead of dwindle down? To make the keyboard community grow faster, it's an interesting question. And like, looking for new growth is something that most vendors are doing, like certainly something that we're doing, because like as things slow down, it's making me consider things like our workshop. We need to find somewhere cheaper to rent because revenue is down from being a couple of million a year a couple of years ago to about 1.4 1.5 million this year, I think. So and that sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not, because we make less than 10% profit. So even if you make £1 million a year in revenue, 100 grand a year, and then you've got staff to pay for and workshopping to pay for and everything else, it's not a huge amount of money. So like realistically, like we're looking at different options for workspaces. I'm trying to buy a new house with my wife at the minute, and we're looking at whether we build a workshop in the garden that we can move PT into. That's an option. Of course, we'll have to look at staffing over time and whether we need to change that. I still don't take a salary, but maybe that's something that needs to change in the future. I don't know. Like, there's a million things that we're looking at. So we're looking at new opportunities to try and grow the market. So we're trying to do a lot more for businesses, where we do customized desk mats and keycap sets and boards for businesses. That's something we've been doing for a couple of years now, and it's semi-successful, but it's hard to find consumers for that. We're working hopefully with a video game studio student to do something similar. I need to send them a pitch deck tomorrow, actually. So it's kind of hard. I think the only way to do it is to kind of like grow the visibility of the hobby and to show the hobby to people who aren't into it today. So I think people who are like custom PC builders don't necessarily have a great knowledge of what the keyboard market looks like, and if they do, they just buy something generic like a Newfie or an Aula or an M-Chose because they think that's the epitome of what keyboards can be, because they just don't know. And I think growing into those markets would be great. I think growing into markets for other companies and other adjacent industries like sim setups. There's this local sim company that makes sim rigs for racing driving. They're going to come over on Tuesday to have a chat with me about options for keyboards for their sim rigs, and I might even buy a sim rig if I can afford one. So I think there's options there, and adjacent industries is where we need to look at. So we'll see. What won? What keycaps? Hyperbage did win. Okay, so Hyperbage did win. Thank you guys for that. Open days at Jay's house. Like if we did go for that, obviously there wouldn't be open days at my house. Like, we wouldn't do that. We would just rent our space and do them there. Do you know if Divina Papaya is spelled horribly wrong? It's planned to run this year. I think it's going to run later on this year. Yeah. That's why Oblo chooses to stay a one-man op. Then, yeah, like realistically, we could be like, if I worked double the amount of hours that I do now, I could take on everyone's jobs and do it, and I'd be fine. Like, it would be no different to when I started running the company. Like, I used to do it all myself for the first 2 years, so it would be absolutely doable. But whether that's right for me or wrong for me is completely different. And plus, I don't want to lose staff, right? Tariffs, confidence in vendors. Yeah, confidence in vendors is a big one for group buys, because people have been burnt so many times that you see, oh, group buys are bad rhetoric everywhere, all over Reddit and things, and that's not always true. Group buys are sometimes really good. Tariffs, yeah, we've noticed that orders from the US have dropped off by about 60%. Recently. So yeah, I think that's absolutely true. My pepper votes failed. Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Probably if a Logitech or Razer gets more into mechanical keyboards, then it gets bigger. But the bigger it gets, the more it gets pulled into slop. That's true. The downside of it getting bigger is that you will see more slop in the world. So yeah. Oh wait, have we got this on another board? Is this already on another board? What board did we put this on? I thought this was a full set, but apparently it's on another keyboard. Let me see if I can find the board it's on. I don't know what board to put this on. I genuinely don't know what board I put this on. I definitely don't put it on something with a numpad. No, that's got botanical on it. And the other board on my desk has got Prussian blue on it. Can anyone remember what we put it on? Video games? Yeah, maybe. Gonna bail Jay up as early as usual. I'll catch the rest of the stream tomorrow. See you, dude. Bankruptcy points. I have Beige one. I thought it was gonna be Pepper Bait. I mean, we might have to use Pepper Bait. Being an employer comes with responsibility too. Yeah, being an employer comes with so many responsibilities, and it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. Exposure for custom keep hardware outside the bubble barely exists. Yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, the watches will rotate. There's like a watch winder, so yeah, you will see them rotate. They will rotate. The top one corner one's doing it now. It's to wind the watches up. Pepper then, yeah. Drawer ASMR. I'm glad you like it. Label makers on making. I need some more boxes. Yeah, there is a 3D printer running in the background. Yeah. I'd go for something like N9 or the like. I hate to say it, but Cosmos would be good. Chat got scammed. Yeah. Is it that board on your desk? No, this is the Enso E. That's got botanical on it. I think we're gonna have to go Pepper Bait. My gender points. Was it the oblique? No, that's got muted on it. I just had a look at the oblique. This is the oblique, and we ended up with muted on it. We put a pink set on it first, and it ended up with muted on it. So it's not that. I genuinely don't know what board we would have put it on. 100 NG. I do have one that's in the drawer, but that's got the whatever that we put this on doesn't have a numpad. So the universe Saint Pepper. See you later, you dude. Manta. I think it was the Manta. Was it? If it was the Manta, I can check because it's here. Manta? You're all saying Manta. Do we need to take it off the Manta? I need to actually sell this back, so this is a good point. I've been avoiding bowls so I can keep this for the open day and send it back after the open day. You guys were right. It is on the Manta. Let's take it off the Manta and pop it on to there. And look at that. We don't need the other keys. We only need these keys. In fact, we can even put one key back in the box because we're not going to use the escape key. So let's get rid of you and you. We'll pop you down there. We'll pop you in there. You there. There, and then we can just take the keys off and lift and drop them because it'll be exactly the same keys. Like we even used the same 6.25 U-pass. This is the Manta. I do need to send it back to Bowl. I feel really bad about this, but like he asked me to send it back a couple weeks ago. I was like, oh yeah, sure I will. And then I thought, oh actually, after I messaged him, I was like, oh, maybe if I just don't mention it, he'll let me keep it until after the open day. Little Manta sound test for the boys. Yeah, sure. For the chaps. I want to get to the point where I have so many keys. I forget putting keycaps on. It's because I build so many, dude. Like I build so many keyboards, and it's like, you know, it's literally dozens a month. It's not a small number. You know, it's hundreds a year. They are HMX Sonyas, yeah, which unfortunately we've sold out of, but I really rate. I'm hoping we'll get more of the HMX Sonyas in. Love a clack. Yeah, I prefer clack, yeah. I also think many things are still way too gatekept, like IC's geekhack and so on. Everything is an effort, which I personally like, but it's not very newcomer friendly. That's true. That's true. I think the thing is as well, there's like a lot of opportunities to get boards out there would be through like the use of like Kickstarter. I think if we did like something like the JR1 through Kickstarter, it'd be great to show it off to the rest of the hobby. But so many people who are in the hobby would then gatekeepers and complain that that was a bad idea and we shouldn't be using Kickstarter for that. And like, but it would just open up the hobby so much. Like if we did a really good campaign on Kickstarter for a JR1, I think we could do super well and really push that whole market for keyboards. But it would come with so much backlash from the community as a whole, because they are so anti doing that kind of thing, that it probably would be suicide to do it. So, you know, there's that gatekeeping goes both ways, Garrison. But I do appreciate your point with it. Did you go to the NK meet? Not this year. I did go last year, and I will go next year, but I didn't go this year. I just couldn't justify it. Geekhack is hell with Imager and needing a VPN. Yeah, I mean, we use a VPN automatically through work. It's set on our we've got a what we call it, a server cabinet, and everything runs through the server. So we already have that running on there. We use one called Windscribe, which is pretty good. So yeah, it is turned off while I'm streaming. Do you get them temporarily just to build? So a lot of keyboards I still collect and buy personally. A lot of stuff that I do get to send to stream. Like I bought the Mia, like I paid for that, or I'm about to pay for it if I haven't already. I can't remember whether we've had the invoice yet or not. The Manta was just to build and to send back. But then stuff like the ETAR 87 was to build and send back. But then other things like the Oblique will keep, because we stream that and we're running that in stock. So it really depends on the project, but and like all the Neo boards we get to keep, but half of them we pay for, because you know, little things like that. So it really depends. And then a lot of boards are customer builds, which customers have bought and then asked me to build for them because we offer a build service. So like, you know, there's just a ton of things. Most of the boards I stream are like boards I own or PT owns, and it's hard to keep a distinction on those sometimes, but we have to do it. So yeah. If True Simon didn't exist, I wouldn't know which keyboards are in Group Buy or IC. Yeah, I disagree with Simon a lot on his views when I watch him on stream, but like that's fine. Like, everyone's got some great opinions in the hobby, and everyone's got some terrible opinions in the hobby, and people will agree and disagree with different things. So it's good to get different people's opinions on different things. Geekhack is honestly kind of ass, but it's where keep shit happens. Yeah, I think there is absolutely an opportunity for some enterprising souls to come up with the replacement for Geekhack. I did think that Keeptown would be, not Keeptown, Keep Talk would be it a few years ago, when Norbauer and Men of Interest made it. Oh, we do need one key actually, because we need the step caps lock. But unfortunately that just didn't, it never really took off. It's still there and it's still a great platform, but it never really took off. GMK have not announced if they're going to do the meetup again next year or not, but it was really good fun. We did go to that as PT, which was nice. Pro gatekeeping, is that selfish? It depends on how you look at it. Like there's certainly some things that should be gatekept and certainly some things that shouldn't be. Like one of the things that makes it, like we have designers come to us and say, "Hi Jay, I have designed a keycap set," and they'll show you a keycap set, and you'll go, "Look, I'm really sorry, but that's not for us." And like, but I want to run this, and I want you to be the vendor. And it's not like they're asking; it's more like they're telling and saying, "This is going to happen, Jay, and I want you to be involved." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to tell that. Like, I don't believe in it, or it's too close to another set, or whatever." And we do get people who think they've got a great design, and you try and go back with some constructive criticism and say, "Look, you need to start thinking about this design in a different way, or you need to change this, or some elements are too close to IP." And they don't want to listen to that feedback because they have their own idea on how it's going to be and how it's got to be. And that kind of gatekeeping, or gatekeeping that kind of person, can be good until they've learned how that works. You know, there's a whole industry that has a certain set of rituals and processes in place, and that kind of needs to be respected, otherwise vendors would just cease to exist. Like we've had some designers say, "Look, you sold 25 of this in group buy, so we're expecting you to buy 1,000 kits." And it's like, whoa, no, like we can't afford 1,000 base kits. Like that's just not going to happen. So yeah, I think there's some things that are right to be gate kept and some things aren't. What product do you sell out of the fastest every time on the store? Like the fastest ever selling board we've had was the JO1, and we sold 330 units in like a minute, less than a minute. In terms of putting stuff in stock and it selling out, you know, we've had, like, when we first put Stabies in stock, they sold out in 20 minutes. The same with Type Plus, and we did it with Type Plus 2 or 3 times. And then the last time we had Type Plus in stock, even in the same amount, it was in stock for 6 months. So, you know, trends come and go. Based on the sale of the new chocolate smoothies from Gatorade, I wouldn't be surprised if they become a bestseller and sell out of stock and we have to get them again. Type R's did it, you know, cheesecakes we sold an absolute ton of, more than any other vendor worldwide, because they were so good and people started to, like, our community started to realize how good they were. So yeah, like there's products that will come and go, but I don't think we can say the product of yesterday that sold out immediately will sell out immediately tomorrow. Like the swings and roundabouts. Styles change so often that, you know, it's just how it is. Gen Z just don't know how to use forums. Maybe. I think Hatsmith talked about it recently with their Kickstarter campaign. It was something stupid like 30%. Wait, what was? A dynamic thing? Kickstarter would be great. I do wonder how much Kickstarter keep though. Yeah, it's 30% of revenue. Yeah. I really want to go. I found it too late for the last one. Yeah. How do you feel about Yuzu keycaps? I enjoyed making my own set, but the potential cloning is pretty intense. I already know of a few people who've made Midnight Rainbow through it, and I don't disagree with Yuzu, and I don't dislike it. The caps are great quality. I think they need better controls around how they police what is produced and isn't produced, because it can be disadvantageous to designers. I'm not massively precious, but you know, when a lot of designers have it as their only income, I think they'll be more precious than I am, and that makes it difficult. So yeah, I've seen other people who've done, you know, I've seen a rubber hose through Yuzu, so you know, it can be quite complex. When I put the keycaps there, you just need stepped caps. The Enterprising Souls made making the topic posts in Markdown and not BB code and make it stable. I think as long as a big name designer could take the risk and get folks to migrate. Yeah, I mean, like, it'd be interesting to see how that would pan out. I would love to see a really good modernized version of Geek Hack. Genuinely would. I would genuinely love to see that, because Geek Hack is great and fine, and if the guys that run Geek Hack, I know that the other downside of Geek Hack as well is who owns it, because it's owned by Corsair ultimately. You know, Drop bought Geek Hack out when it could have gotten to be community owned, because the guy wanted money for it. And then Drop got bought out by Corsair, so it's now Corsair owned. I feel like any vendor shouldn't be the owner of it. We need to decide which one of these we're going to use now. So, yeah, it really depends. It really depends. Hold on. I need to keep the cards with them so I can remember which one's which. The lids don't work because they're all same lid. But I do need to keep the cards with them. And I need to decide which one we're going to use. So, that's the Kiwi. Shadow Grey. Okay, we got those wrong way. I mixed these up at some point as well. There we go. Okay, so we've got a Kiwi that we could use, which would work really well. But I think we're going to go for one of the keepers. I think we're going to go for this guy because he's cool and he's beige, and beige is good. There we go. As a vendor who sells switches, is it a bit annoying when people say blacks are the 100 switch people eat? No, not at all. Not at all. We've sold blacks for years. I don't mind. A Blutsky. Hey man, I owe you an apology because I said I'd get you on stream when we did this, and I didn't, so I'm sorry, dude. I'm sorry. But it is ISO. He sent me enough switches to do ISO. Geekhack is just V-bulletin at the end of the day. It is, yeah. If they moved over to the same software as Keep Talk is on, I think it'd do much better. Let's say you're a gaming journalist who looks for easy news about new hardware. Where do you even look for key news to report and give exposure? Watch Black Simon stream. So we used to get people, when we did talk back in the day, we used to get people from Wired and things like that, messages and ask us about certain things. So there is the opportunity out there to do it. Blue and grey. Oh, I think I picked the wrong one. Because a few of you guys have said that. All 4 on the right, replace them and do escape normal because basic picture vibes. No. Too many artisans. But there we go. But this is the TGR Mia with oat switches and GMK Hyper Beige with the CYSM keeper in the corner. What a beautiful keyboard. What about key source? How's that going? I don't think it is at the minute. I haven't been involved for a year. Look at this bass though. How beautiful is that? Can't catches the light. Reminds me of Mr. Doodle. Hi. Like the chamfering on the way? Yeah. It's actually pretty neat because the way the chamfering's done, it's kind of like got an edge to it. And can you see Beep's logo and TGR's logo just at the front here, and Aplotsky's logo just as it comes around there. Absolutely beautiful. And if you look at the rear as well. So I think the key source just kind of died because we were working with the Clackicon guys to get it produced, and Clackicon died. So as a company, so yeah, and the guys behind key source, Blur and GVB, haven't spoken to me in about a year, so I don't know where they've got to with it. I'd love to do a keyboard magazine though. I don't have any magazines to hand, but there's a car magazine that I get called Rat Rod, and there's a coffee magazine that I get called Stand Art, and I would love to do that 4 times a year for keyboards. I absolutely would love to. I've talked with Mike at Novel Keys about it a couple of years ago, and we kind of came up with some ideas then, but I would love to do like a coffee table book full of like beautiful photos. Alex Sotos was on board when I talked to him, and just do it like 4 times a year. And just have 4 releases a year, once a quarter. Do like a spring catalog, almost like summer catalog, an autumn catalog, and a winter catalog, like, which is really, really cool. I will try and push that ideal again. Do I prefer polished or sandblasted? I like both. It depends on the board and the design. Can we get a sound test of this beauty? You'll get a sound test in a minute. Yeah. Keyboard magazine would be fine. I so want to do it. Like, I first had the idea to do it maybe 8 or 9 years ago. I talked to Tehe Types about it back before I started PT, and we couldn't quite figure out how to do it between us then. And knowing what I know now, I know how to do it, and I could absolutely knock it out of the park. But I would need people to submit images and articles for it. That's where we'd need to be. But yeah, like, I would absolutely, if anyone absolutely wants, like, so this is a call for talent. Like, if people absolutely would love to be involved in making a keyboard magazine a thing, and we'd do it as separate prototype as like its own thing, and we'd do it, you know, 4 times a year, then if a couple of people message me about it and are actually interested in working on it, and you can send proof that you can write or take photographs, and you can send like a catalog of what you've done, like a portfolio of what you've done, I will 100% speak to some of the other big US vendors, get them on board, and we'll try and make it happen. Because I would, even if we only did twice a year, we did every 6 months we did one, I would fucking love to do it. Just a nice, like the Stand Art magazines are so cool, and I love reading them every month, and I want to do it in that style. And I know the publisher and the designers of the Stand Art magazine, so I've already spoken to them about doing it for keyboard magazines. I would absolutely love to be the driving force behind it. So yeah. I have the Teja's vinyl somewhere in the office. It's somewhere floating around in here. I don't know where it is, but I do have the vinyl. In fact, I do know where it is. Yeah, I have this. But I would absolutely love to do a keyboard magazine. Beefcakes of Keyboards calendar too. Yeah, I don't know who would put in it. Oblo for sure. It would be full of Dold's photos. I'd love to work with Dold on it. He'd be great for it. That's where you worked it 2 years ago. Lam, I'm not going to open it on stream, but if you message me, we'll figure it out and see if we can get it to working, making it a thing. Getting guides for photography on a budget as well for small effects. Still sealed. Yeah. So I actually have 2 copies. Blotsky, I have that copy which came from Future Crime. He sent me that as a gift, and then I have the copy that I bought as well, which is at home, which has been played a couple of times. Was that a vinyl of Key SMR? Yeah. I have an X106 and a Shoreline. I can take some pictures. Absolutely. Okay. Like I would love to make it a thing. Like, it's never going to make any money, so like don't do it for money, because a keyboard magazine just isn't going to make money at all. Like the economics of it just don't stand up. I know that because I've looked at it, but it's an opportunity to create something and have like a coffee table book. And if people are willing to donate time and effort for that, then we could absolutely make it a thing. No, it's got a range of sound tests on it. It's actually not that great, but like there's a whole blurb and hold on, I will show you. There you go, the whole blurb. So you got an Apple MO11A, a 116, a Shikuni board, Mechanisk Fial. That is the, I thought that was the Holy Panda one. Yeah, that's the Holy Panda one that Brian built on Top Clack, where Holy Pandas became the thing. A HHKB, an IBM 5140, which is a cool board, an IBM PC, a Q, which, well, if you know anything about a Q, you know what happened there. A Keycut 165, a TGR 910, an Alice from 2018, and the Vern from Zambamon, which was pretty cool. Yeah, so this was done by Future Crime, who is a big collector of keyboards, and yeah, you see here like instructions to see by Future Crime, who's called Stuart. He's really cool. He's still in the hobby today, but this was produced pretty much at the same time as PT was starting out, so it's a cool collectible. So yeah, it was a keyboard coffee table book that I wanted to pick up, but it sold out by the time I heard about it. Is that the Norbauer one? Because that was really good. I do have that somewhere. Matthew Encina? Yeah, probably a good guy. Yeah, to get on a publication team. Absolutely. I need people who are... I need some people who can write. I mean, I can try. Like, I have a blog. Like, if you ever want to read my ramblings, you can go to the PT website and under information you can click on Jay's ramblings, and there is some blogs here. Like, I actually put 2 posts up this week, but I think they've only had like 3 views each. Around obsolescence is the new black. Why mechanical keyboards are still kicking ass. So I wrote this a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, let's talk about the relentless soul-crushing treadmill that is modern technology. Every year it's the same old circus. New phone, new laptop, new smart toaster will burn your bread and your dignity for only 299 quid. Tech industry's entire business model is making you feel like a relic if you're not constantly refreshing your gadgets. Anyway, you can read how I write. So I don't mind doing a bit of writing, and cars, this is just a personal rant about cars and the last bastion of selfish commutes, because I'm a selfish idiot. You can have a read of those if you're interested, but like I need some people who can take some photos and write and also edit, like to help create like the magazine structure. I do know a guy called Odol who'd be really, really good at this, so I might reach out to him if we can make it happen. So yeah, we'll see if we can make it happen. Shift Happens. Oh yeah, so we actually had 2 copies of Shift Happens here at PT. I gave one to Anarchy. He then donated a nice amount to charity on behalf of me, and then the other version is there. It's literally just here. Look at Shift Happens. That's the this is it here. Plus an old Ammonite I found on the beach. But yeah, this is Shift Happens. Look how big it is. It is just absolutely stonking huge. Just 3 books and a small pull-out magazine, and it is just amazing. Martin, the guy who wrote this, super cool guy. There's a ton of really cool photography. just absolute tons of stuff in here. Like, you can tell that this guy absolutely loves keyboards. I'd love to do something similar, actually, to write something similar, but I don't have the time or the talent. But there's all sorts of inspirational things in here. It even goes into handheld gadgets and stuff like that. Just tons and tons of stuff. Yeah, super cool book. I have flicked through most of it over the time. There's some cool, like, postery stuff. And then there is, I think this is the Gorton book, maybe. Oh, this is the extras book. Do you also plan to visit small keyboard manufacturers per magazine? So the idea for the magazine is something that I've had since before PT existed. Like, this is something that I wanted to do years and years ago. And I know Mike from Novel Keys and Riley at Novel Keys were both really excited to do it as well. And they've had it on their to-do list for a long time, but no one's ever quite got around to it. Right, is that available to buy? I don't know if extras are available. It was on a Kickstarter a couple of years back. I got 2 copies. As I said, I gave one to Anarchy and I kept one. I don't know if it's still available, but it's called Shift Happens by Marcin Wickery. So yeah, you can have a look around for it. Anyway, let's do a sound test. I apologize, you're going to have the sound of the 3D printer in the background, but let's see how this board sounds. So this is the TGR Mia with oat switches and GMK keycaps. I hate the word creamy, but that sounds so good. Oh my god, these switches, Oblotsky, you were absolutely right. I definitely need to get these in stock. Oh my god. What a good sounding board. This is a polycarbonate plate. Plotsky's on a 3-minute ad break when the sounds. Oh, I'll pause. It sounds so good. It sounds so good. I think I've been into it with a stiffer plate, but it does sound good. Dude, this sounds so good. Oh, thank you, Jelly, for gifting the tier 1 sub to Oblotsky as well. Thank you so much for that, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's a polycarbonate plate. Play the 910 from the vinyl. I can get the other 910. I can get the gaff 910 out. Where did we put it? Not there. There. This is a very different build, but yeah. This also sounds great, but a little bit different. So that's the gaff 910, the older version of the board. I say older version, it's slightly different, but yeah. Okay, Oblotsky. Oh my god, that sounds so good. That is Alu in the gaff, yeah. Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds so good. I can't wait to get people to type on this at the open day. Yeah, mortgage deposit for the dude. Like, I'm trying to buy a house at the minute, so if anyone wants to buy this, you can buy this off me for £2,000, and that will help me with my mortgage. Typing feel. So we've got a polycarbonate plate in here, so it's quite soft. I wouldn't say it's flexy, but it's quite soft. But it feels like a top mount with, you know, a PC plate. That's what it feels like. It feels good. It feels firm. Not too soft, not too bouncy. It sounds so good. I'm not sure about the key set on here. Maybe I'll change the key set over. I think maybe some just good old beige will be better, but it sounds so good. How do you rate the switches? Are they long pole? Yeah, I think they are long pole. I think the switches are really nice. I think we're going to stock the switches. Like, I don't stock switches that I don't believe in and I don't think I'll do well. I'm not one of the type of vendors that'll just have a million switches in stock. I want switches that I would personally use. Oblotsky, you recommended the oat and the rye switches to me, so we've got oats in this. Absolutely going to stock both of them. Absolutely going to stock both of them. Yeah, really, really happy with this. 2K, the keycap switch isn't included. Yeah, sure. If you give me $2,000, you have the keyboard as it is, right? You get it all, yeah. Prussian blue on this and hyper beige on the steel line. Prussian blue's here. I don't think Prussian blue would work with the dark grey. The lights wash out Prussian blue. I don't think it'd quite work with the grey. Prussian blue doesn't actually look like you seeing it on here because the stream lights just wash out the dark tones of the blue. But yeah. Banned from future sales. You know I'm only joking, Upload. I'm not actually going to sell it, but yeah. What switch? These are oat switches. Made for beta. Maybe. I don't own the original run, but I'm waiting for the second one. Will the cloud line be on display during the meet? Yeah, pretty much all my personal boards will be on display. Oh, I say all. No, that's a lie. I'll put 20 or 30 boards on display. Is invoice slot page? Yeah, I'll get Sharon on that tomorrow, dude. I'll get Sharon on that tomorrow. So if the invoice hasn't been paid, I'll get Sharon to sort that out. It's probably already been sent and just not arrived yet. Oh, we already unpaused the music somehow. Okay. Yeah, it sounds fantastic. Sounds fantastic. For the open day, we're going to have 14 tables, and we can fit 3, 6, 9, 12. We can fit 15 boards per table. PT will have 2 tables, and then the others 12 will be for attendees to put their boards on, so we can have about 100 boards on display from attendees. So I'll probably have something like 30 boards on display from my personal collection and from PT. I'll probably have one table for PT and one table for my personal collection. So these 3 will probably be there anyway, so you can try them. So yeah. If I'm bringing a 40, can I bring 2? Sure. I will let just you do that, Telvin. Yeah. Okay. Is Beta R2 almost ready? Should be soon. I haven't had confirmation that it's shipping yet from GMK, but I don't think it's too far away. I think it's going to be pretty soon. Yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. We've been streaming for a couple of hours now. Hopefully this time you won't get an A, B, C, D keycap switcheroo. Dude, Zora, whoever did that. So this is a couple of years ago. We did an open day at PT, and I had, can't remember what board it was, but I had GMK Analog Dreams Round 1 on it, and someone changed all of the keycaps to just go, instead of going QWERTY across the top right, it just said A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, right? It went in alphabetical order. But at the time, the UK ISO keys went missing on that same day, and I don't know if someone took them or hid them or whatever, and they never turned up. So someone did change the whole thing of the keyboard, the layout of the keyboard, and then some of the ISO keys went missing, and it was a whole thing. It was a funny joke. It was a funny joke because I didn't realize until I typed on it next stream, and I realized that my keys were all over the place. But yeah, it was one of those kind of like silly times. But yeah. I ended up finding another ISO kit for it in the end, but yeah. Such is life. If I'm bringing a 9 kilogram board, will there be a table big enough to support it? Yeah, we can support that. The tables are strong enough. I've stood on one of the tables, so I'm pretty confident it can hold that board. Yeah, removing the keys is another. Yeah, I mean, people were just having a joke, and someone took it too far. It was fine. But no, like the boards will be out. There'll be a ton of stuff from my personal collection. There'll be a ton of stuff from PT. So we'll have like the JR1 prototypes and stuff there. The JR3 prototypes. We'll have the Enso E. We'll have the Mia. We'll have the Rubrehaku. We'll have, I think we've still got a Jane V3 prototype somewhere lying around. If we have that, will be out. The Project Nixie will be there. So yeah. I'll bring my Kepler. Nice, dude. Nice. Like the OG Kepler. I think did you buy that off me, Zui, or did I sell that to someone else? Because I did have one at one point, or maybe I still have it. I don't know. I lose track of the keyboards I have. Like there's just too many of them to keep track of. But yeah, it's cool. The board he's talking about, Rec, is the CMO. What cars are going to be there? We're going to actually take the cars out of the workshop, so there won't be any of my personal car collection here. There'll just be maybe the green truck outside and the PT truck as well. The FC65. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, that was a cool board. I absolutely had to budget that to, like, I had to cut the PCB and all sorts to get out. But the rest of the classic cars that are usually in the workshop, they won't be here. They'll be tucked away in another workshop. So yeah, they won't be here. Can we test drive your cars? No. Why? No. Why would you be able to test drive my cars? Like, my classic cars, no one drives but me, and I don't trust anyone to drive them but me, because they're cars that I have spent years building and tuning and getting to my liking. The PT truck is a PT truck. If you don't work for the company, you ain't insured to drive it. It's a company vehicle. So yeah, and that's all that'll be here on the day. Like we have done meetups in the past where we've had I've had like 8 or 9 of my cars here, and other people brought classic cars in as well. We did that at the old workshop. In fact, Zondat Noxry came to that in his Alpine a few years ago, which is funny, because then about a year later he wouldn't speak to me anymore, which is funny. So yeah, Chris is probably the only person I would let drive the Datsun, the orange one. Like, I'd let him drive it. Yeah. Kind of sit in your lap while you test drive. I'll take people out in them if they come. If you come for keyboards and coffee in the summer when the classic cars are here and out on the road, absolutely, I'll take you out for a blast. Like, that's fun. Can we see how many people can fit in the bed of the pickup truck? Sure, we could probably do that. You can probably fit 15, 20 people in there, I think. But yeah, we can probably do that. That would be quite fun to do. Yeah. Although I wouldn't drive it with people in the bed. How about Clay and I? No. I've never seen either of you drive, so yeah. I will not be sober enough to drive everyone back to the hotel. I will not be sober enough to drive everyone back to the hotel. That's the thing. Neither of us drive. I think Colleen has a license, I think. I don't know. But like, if anyone ever wants to go for a bit of a hair-raising ride as well, like, there is some roads about 20 miles away from here, up through the hills in the Audi RS4. They are an absolute blast. It's on the evening, there's an SPC, like a Twitch subs event on the evening after the open day. There will be alcohol there. Can I teach you how to brew coffee? 100% I can show you how to make a coffee. Absolutely. Like, you can come along, you can even buy some of the coffee on the day, try it, and I'll show you how to brew it. And if you catch me in a quiet moment, I'll even teach you how to do like a really nice pour over with it as well. So yeah. I have a license, I will drive anything. So one of the fun things that I'm doing, so I turned 40 earlier on this year. My 40th birthday present to myself is that I don't have a driving license to show you with me, but on the back of your driver's license in the UK, there's certain classes of vehicle that you're allowed to drive depending on what tests you've taken. And since I took my test, because I'm, as I say, 40, it's now changed. So like, I can tow a trailer on my license, but people who take the test now need to do an additional test to be able to tow. But what I want to do is I want to unlock all of the things I can't do on my license in the next couple of years. So this is my 40th birthday present to myself. So there's a few things that I can't do. So I've done basic CBT on motorcycle, but I haven't done the full thing. So I'm going to do that. I can't drive anything over 7.5 tons. So I'm going to do that. I can't drive anything with passengers, so I'm going to do the test for that. And I can't drive anything with paying customers, so I'm going to do a test for that. The idea is that by the time I'm like 43, 44, I want to be able to say, look at any vehicle on the roads in the UK and go, oh, I can drive that. I've got the license for that. Like, I can just jump in and drive it. Like, that's where I want to get. And that's my birthday present to myself. I'm already forklift certified. I can drive a forklift. Yeah, I can drive a forklift. But that's the plan. Like, I want to be able to do like a, big truck and big wagons and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, submarines don't drive on the roads. So yeah. Yeah, I did the forklift one last year just for shits and giggles. But yeah. Right, okay. I think that's it for the stream though today, guys. Please do go buy something from the website. Keep supporting us. I appreciate all of you. There's a ton of group buys and in-stock products and everything else that are all amazing things to buy. You could buy Prussian Blue. You could buy Hyper Beige right now if you wanted to. They're in stock, ready to go. So yeah, take a look at that. And get your open day tickets. Come to the meetup. Come and see the team. Come and see the workshop. Come and see a ton of keyboards and meet all your friends that you've been speaking to on Discord. And yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. I'm really looking forward to the event, and I know I'm going to be exhausted and tired by the time it comes to it, because this weekend in between I'm climbing a mountain with some friends. So yeah, on Saturday coming we're going to go climb a mountain. So yeah, it's going to be great and fun. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you all again soon. Take care and have a great rest of your weekend. I'll see you guys again soon. Take care.